Second live of the day. Second live of the day. How are we all doing? And I think I'm fair. Okay, I'm not on time, but I'm close to on time. I'm only fashionably late. And crucially, we are starting this live just as they are doing the introductions for the co-main event. So we're going to get to do the main and the co-main. Just before I do anything, let's just make sure said sound is okay. If you don't mind. Make sure the sound is all right. If you don't mind. There we go. Yep, sounds just fine. Always have a spare. Always have the spare iPhone there, just in case. Just in case. How we all doing? Second live of the day. I don't remember the last time I've done two. Oh, actually, I did two lives when Shakur fought Tio, and I did a watch along to Josh Kelly. That was 3 weeks ago. We're not making this a three-piece today, though. We are definitely not doing it. I've decided now, Ryan Garcia, I will do a review of that. I am knackered. I am not doing it. I'm not doing a watch along for Ryan Garcia. That's one thing I've just decided. It's like, no, I'm absolutely shattered to bits. So Ryan Garcia, unfortunately, I'll do a review tomorrow, but for the time being, we can put him on the back burner. We can put him on the back burner. But this is going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good co-main. The undercard has been, it's been, to say the least. I saw someone there on about Dave Allen. I did see that that's the same Dave Allen that took Johnny Fisher, so will give him a title shot against any that Matchroom the Zone want. Well, actually, I'll touch on that now in a sec. But that guy was garbage, and this is not me hating on Dave Allen, right? But we've seen Dave Allen fight these low hanging fruits before and look good against them, and then step up and look not good. So, the thing I took from that was how far it was laughable, because they were talking about domestic opponents for Dave Allen, and they kept on saying, Allen beats prospects like Johnny Fisher and Johnny Fisher at the domestic scene. It's like, seriously, we know he's a gimmick. Please stop saying that he's domestic level and that he's a prospect. He's a gimmick. The cat is well and truly out of the bag with Johnny Fisher. Matthew, you're saying 4:30, right? I seen the Zone posted on their social feeds, mate, that the ring walks are 9 p.m. Western or Pacific time, as they say it over there, and 12 a.m. Eastern time. Now, if you look at that in UK time, that's roughly 5 a.m. And I was just like, nah. And you know the way they say 5 a.m.? It's going to be later than 5 a.m. The US shows never start when they're supposed to. They always start later. So I was like, do you know what? I'm tired today. I really can't do, because I was absolutely knackered after the last one. I was like, I really can't do all that and then do a show that's probably going to go into maybe 6:30, 7 a.m. It's like, I can't do it. So unfortunately, I won't be doing Ryan Garcia tonight. I'll do a review of that tomorrow. And this fight's going to be good. This fight has just started. I think we're in for a good fight. Fawaz versus Davis. Both guys have really come up the hard way. Neither guy has come up the easy route. I think Ishmael Davis is absolutely fantastic. I really do. I like his story. There's so much to like about Ishmael Davis, and he is a good fighter. I think that one of the biggest problems I've had with Davis is he's taken fights too early. He's taken fights on short notice where he really shouldn't have. And I think it all came good against Sam Gilly last time. I felt he won that fight legitimately. It was competitive, it was close, but he won it legitimately. And I was just hoping and praying that they didn't do him in again. Not that he was done in against Kevin and Jargo. Look, that was a close fight in Belfast. Kind of what way that's going to go. Against Boachuk, should never have took that fight. And against Kelly, he could have won that fight with enough preparation. And again, he only took it on 7 days' notice. But if he had the full, say, 8-9 weeks, he could have won that fight. So I think there's a very good fighter in Ishmael Davis. He started that first round very well. He's starting this first round very well on the back foot, boxing quite well. Fawaz, I believe he only turned pro a couple of years ago, and he is quite up there in age. So you would say that sometimes can be a good thing, because, okay, he's developed all of his strength and he looks solid in there. And the fact of the matter is he hasn't taken much damage in that time, which I get it, yeah, but still, he's 37 years old. There's bound to be limitations there. Whereas Ishmael Davis, he has been operating at a decent level for his last couple of fights, nearly for the last 2 years now. So I think Ishmael Davis is well and primed to win this fight. He has been very active, which is something that I like to see. But at the same time, if you're going 12 rounds on a consistent basis and you're doing it at a good pace and they're fairly tough 12 rounders, that can start to take it out of you. That can really start to take it out of you. But Ishmael Davis really takes this sport. Oh, that's a lovely right hand from Ishmael Davis. Not much power on it, but he just chucks it over the shoulder and it just lands on Fawaz's chin there. Not much. Oh, that's a lovely short right hand as well. Ishmael Davis doing very well in this first round here. 25 seconds to go. And look at his eyes. He is steadfast. He is focused. Now, we all think this fight could turn into something good, but Ishmael Davis in this first round, he has really shown that there are some serious gaps in class, certainly in this first round, between him and Fawaz. Lovely stuff from Ishmael Davis, and he is ending this first round on a high note. It really, truly is some good work in there from Ishmael Davis. Really. High former G-Man. You can still call me G-Man, I know, but, it's definitely Liam now, and we ain't changing. We've gone down that road. He looks absolutely massive. He really does. But you say that though, all 154 pounders, they all tend to look massive these days. Like, I'd love to know how much weight they're cutting. Because you see someone like, you see the Charlos back in the day, and you see some 155 pounders 10 years ago. They look decent size, but they didn't look what we're seeing now. Like, what we're seeing now, we are literally seeing light heavies and 168 pounders at 154 pounds. It's crazy. Hey, brother, how far away are you? How far away from the main event time wise? Thanks. Likelihood is we're going to go to full 12 on this. I'd say likelihood. So I would say we are roughly an hour away from the main event. It's what time now? 10 to 9? I would say just before 10 or 10 p.m. UK time. Now, if this ends early, they'll just get a move on. I'd be surprised if it did. To be honest with you, I'd be surprised if it ends early, but if it does, then they'll just make a move and they'll just get on to the main event. But I'd be surprised now, in fairness, if it did end early. And by the way, 63 already in the building. If you haven't already, do please consider hitting the like and hitting the subscribe button. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that if you could do that. We're into round number 2, and that was a very impressive first round from Ishmael Davis there. Very impressive. I liked what I saw from him there. And again, Ishmael Davis, and you can see there, someone pointed out about Ishmael Davis's size. There's definitely a size difference when you look at their bodies in the ring naturally. Ishmael Davis, broader, look, his arms are bigger, broader shoulders, much bigger back. There's definitely a size difference. Although Fawaz doesn't look small in there, he looks a decent size, 154 pounder. But Ishmael Davis is a unit. I mean, he is a unit in there. Look at the size of him. Man is massive in there. Look at the size of his back and everything. And Ishmael Davis, to me, has to be up there with one of the biggest 154 pounders around. Now, I'm not going to talk about him, but I'm just saying, if Conor Benn can't make 147 pounds, and bear in mind, Conor Benn at welterweight is a decent sized welterweight, but I wouldn't say he's the biggest. If he goes to 154 pounds, if he has to out of necessity, he is going to be running into some huge guys. Like, I look at these guys both in the ring, and I just think, how do you shift them if you're someone like Conor Benn moving up, or if you're a welterweight moving up who doesn't have that natural size? You look at the likes of Devin Haney, you look at the likes of Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, and you just stop and think, all right, you guys all came up from 135 pounds. When you look at these guys in the ring and you see how big they both are, you're like, how are you ever going to be able to really challenge these guys in terms of just natural size? Oh, given the size that they are, they're flipping massive in there. It's crazy, the size of these guys. Absolutely flipping crazy. Really is. It really, truly is. Ishmael Davis looks huge. He absolutely does. Yeah, always puts size on after the weigh-in. Don't know how he gets down to the weight. Neither do I. I mean, these guys are huge, man. They're so big. Honestly, man, it's crazy how big some of these guys are. I'd love to know how much weight they're cutting. I really do. I really would love to know. And there's 35 seconds to go in the second round. Slightly a little bit better from Fawaz in this round, but Ishmael Davis is still looking, man, he is looking the part in there, isn't he? He looks real good. I think Ishmael Davis is just, it's like I said, if he can get a consistent run under his belt I wouldn't say he's necessarily going to win world titles or anything like that. I'd be blatantly lying if I said I thought he could actually go and pick up a world title or anything like that. But I think that there's a good fighter there. I certainly do think that. And I think there's a lot of talent there. Whether he can do something with it or not, that's another thing. But I like what I'm seeing from Ishmael Davis in there, certainly early on. Certainly early on. That's why I think he's one paced. Big up, Liam. Last time I joined your watch along, I asked about lessons you learned in your 20s. If I didn't answer it, I apologize. Lessons I learned in my 20s: don't force things, and don't ever get comfy, because life can change very, very quickly. In my early 20s, I thought I was going to be a gym instructor. And there's a girl I was seeing when I was 20. I thought like that was it. I was going to end up with this girl. I thought we were going to get married and I was going to be a gym instructor and all this. None of which happened. I became a gym instructor, but am I one now? Um, there's a never get settled. Things can change, and the relationships you keep when you're in your 20s and stuff like that, don't they're not always going to be there. Put it like that, because there's people I was very, very good friends with in my early 20s and mid 20s as well, who I don't see now. It's not that we have beef, but just people go their separate ways. Just understand that where you are at that stage in your life, that's not your final destination. So don't ever get too settled, don't ever get too comfy. But also, one lesson I learned is when you're in your 20s, there's still that little bit of innocence. Certainly, when you're in your early 20s, there is still that little bit of innocence. So enjoy it, enjoy being able to go and see your friends and go and do things that you want to do. When I was in my early 20s, I should be commentating on this, but I'm giving a little bit of advice here. I was saying, when I was in my early 20s, me and my best friend, all we would ever do during the week would be go for spins around Dublin. All we do on the weekends, most weekends, would be either watch the fights or go to a pub, or said watch fights in a pub. And we just had fun. And we did that for a number of years and we had a great time doing it. And I love those days. I look back on them so fondly. And look, they're in the past now. They're gone. We've moved on. Obviously, we're still friends now. We're still best friends, but we're adults now. We're proper adults, and we have other things. He lives back home. I live over here. We have other things that we need to prioritize. But when you have those, when you have that time to do it, because I remember at the time there was people who were really focusing. No, I need to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do this, and they're really no better off now than they were back then. And I look and I'm like, you know what? I enjoyed my early 20s. I really did. I had a good laugh. I had good fun. I really didn't take things too serious when I look back at it now, which is a good thing, kind of in retrospect. And, now, like, obviously, I'm all hands to deck. I live in a different city. I live in a different country to all my other friends, and I'm doing what I love to do. Like, not many people can say they can do that, but I do what I love to do. And I think that's one of the lessons I learned. Just enjoy yourself. It's not going to last forever. It doesn't. But use your early 20s to just enjoy yourself. If something goes wrong, so what? As long as it, doesn't damage you or your family, so what? You've plenty of time. You can rebuild, restart again, and just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy it. Look, I'm in my 30s now. I'm not in my 20s anymore. Would I like to go back? I always say not necessarily, because I'm happy where I am now. But would I change anything? Hell no. So that's what I would give. That's the advice I'd give. You know, Start laying the foundations down, but make time to have fun, make time to enjoy yourself. You're in a great time in your life where you still have that youthful innocence. You do. When people say like when you hit 20, you're an adult. I would say you don't really become an adult till you're 25. That's when things kind of start to kind of click into gear a little bit. But when you're in your early 20s, see what you want to do. If you don't like to do, if you're doing something you don't want to do, don't do it. Change it up. You've got plenty of time. I remember thinking I was 22. I was 22 when I realized the gym stuff was done. I realized that stuff was done with me. Everything I tried just turned to ash basically. I met some very, how would I describe them? Very unlikable characters. And I just thought, I don't want to be around these sorts of people. I don't want to be around this. And I remember thinking at the time, like, Jesus, what am I going to do? This is all I've done for the last couple of years. What am I going to do? It comes like you just let things flow and things just come naturally. And if I always say it like this, if the gym had worked out and that relationship had worked out, I wouldn't be here right now. as in I wouldn't be here where I am right now, you know, sat in my flat in London, or it's not a house, but still it's a nice flat. I'm sat in my flat in London. I'm watching boxing and, you know, getting paid to do it. I have something very big, which I can't wait to tell you guys about, but I can't right now until all the I's are dotted. And yeah, I'm very privileged for it. So yeah, that's what I got to say on that, man. So enjoy your 20s. Enjoy them. Back to the fight. And 90 people in the building. If you caught that little kind of if you caught that little pep talk, I hope you enjoyed it. But we are back to the fight. We missed a full round on that pep talk, by the way. So round 4 is now underway. And I missed the complete third round, but we're still seeing the fight. So obviously nothing dramatic happened. Nothing too dramatic happened there. So let's have a look. Let's get commentating and let's talk. And big up to my man, Adam, every single time with the super chat. AJ, hope you're doing well. I appreciate your take. I'm in psychology. There's modern research that suggests maturity isn't totally reached until 32. I could well believe that, to be honest with you, because I genuinely can believe that, because I think there's certain things I do still even now that raise an eyebrow. Put it like this, right? Put it like this, right? So me and Ade have something big planned, and we both got our respected. I think I can say this, right? We got our respected offers per se on Wednesday, and I was going to text Ade and say I got my offer, but I realized he was flying to Las Vegas, and maybe this is just the naivety of me, but I was like, I better not text him. Sure, he's flying to Las Vegas. He's in the air. He won't see this until he lands. And then as I'm going home, waiting for the train, he texts me, "Oh, did you get your offer today?" And I'm like, I was going to text you, but you're in the air. And he's like, you do realize, he's like, you do realize planes have Wi-Fi. I was like, yeah, maybe I need a bit, maybe I am a little bit too naive, huh? But thank you so much for the 20 quid. But yeah, I do realize now that planes have Wi-Fi. It's just certain planes don't. So yeah, maybe I'm a year shy of that peak maturity, peak mental maturity anyway. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. Who wins, Fury or Dubois? It's a good fight, man. Depending on how Fury looks, like right now, depending on how he looks, if he comes back and looks like his old self, I'd say he probably nicks it. But if he's hittable, then Dubois, I'd have Dubois taking that. I definitely would have Dubois taking that. That's some nice uppercuts inside from Ishmael Davis. So Fawaz already, now this is just me from the outside looking in, we're 4 rounds in. Oh, that's a lovely jab from Ishmael Davis. We're 4 rounds in. There's already a bit of a distressed look on the face of Fawaz there, and he's missing very sloppy with that right hand, and Ishmael Davis lands again. People, I thought this fight had 12 rounds written all over it. Now, I know Davis isn't the biggest puncher in the world, but if he's able to land as consistently as he is, and I believe Fawaz is 37. I mean, my man Adam just said there, you peak maturity at 32. I mean, if he's 37, what did he look like at 21? Jesus, because he looks like a kid. The man looks like a child in there. In comparison, like in terms of the face, he does not look nearly 40. Scott just asked me, you know, the big news Ade is talking about. He said it's going to be bigger than Ben moving to Zuffa. I know some news. I don't know if this is. Well, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk about it, obviously, but I don't know if what I think it is necessarily bigger than that, unless there's something I'm missing. Because I know there is some news that's potentially happening, but I don't know if it's necessarily bigger than that. So we'll wait and see on that one. But yeah, we're hearing a lot of things, man. There's a lot of things. I mean, Dana White has certainly, I mean, he's certainly done things. He's certainly changed the game. I mean, Eddie Hearn talked about changing the game. No, Dana White really is doing that. It's been crazy how good he's been and what he's been doing. And Jack asked, now, am I live tonight? Nah, man, the fight with Ryan Garcia starts at 5 a.m. And I just decided, you know what? I'd love to, but if it was New York, I probably would, because I know I'd be done by about 5 a.m. But the fact that it's on the West Coast, Look, if it was Canelo, if it was AJ or someone like that, I probably would. But I like Ryan. I'll just do a review in the morning. Honestly, I'll just do a review in the morning. So this is the last live for tonight. I might do one tomorrow. I might. Now, Carl Frampton gave that first round to Fawaz. I don't know why he was watching because that first round, I swear, that was definitely an Ishmael Davis round. So yeah, Tony Bellew. We don't often agree, but we are here. Tony Bellew has a clean sweep for Ishmael Davis. Yeah, you can't have it any other way than Ishmael Davis winning this fight and winning it handily. He is absolutely bossing this fight. Fawaz doesn't look terrible, but and like, look at that combination there. It just looks so forced. And Ishmael Davis just looks like he's in control there. It really does. And by the way, 100 in the building. So if you haven't, do please consider hitting the like and hitting the subscribe button. We're not a million miles. We're only 18 subs off 29K. Actually, we're literally only 18 subs off 29K. How many are we off? Actually, we're 15 subs now off 29K. 15 people need to subscribe between now and the end of this card. And I've got 29K. If there's ever a reason to hit that like button, it's now. I want to get 29K. I want to finish this and see a 9 next to my 20 instead of an 8. I've seen that 8 too long now. It's been about 2 months since I've been on 28K. I'm sick of seeing it. I want to get to 29. I want to get to 29. So do please consider hitting that subscribe button. And apologies if you can hear it. You're going to hear sirens now. Now, you always hear sirens up this road for some reason. I don't know why. It's a nice neighborhood too, to be fair. So I don't know why you hear so many sirens. There you go. Ollie subscribed. There you go, man. You're getting me to 29K. Thank you so much, my friend. But yeah, 30 seconds to go here in round number 5. Apologies, there haven't been much commentary on this fight. I will look to get back to commentating, but I know people are asking me questions. So, when they do that, that's what we do. Wear hats indoors. I do like my hats. What can I say? No further comment. I do like my hats for the foreseeable future. Won't always be that way, but for now, unfortunately, it is. Dave Allen's weight was horrendous. I know. And that guy wasn't too good either. Like, that guy was awful who he fought. So, look, I can say a lot. I could say an awful lot. We're 11 subs off, by the way, just so you know. We're only 11 subs off 29K now. Just saying. Liam, I wanted to get your thoughts. Do you think Eddie could potentially sign Ryan if he wins tonight? No. The long and the short of it, I'd be very surprised. I think if Ryan did sign with Eddie, I think Eddie would. I don't think. See, if Eddie was to sign Ryan, I think he wouldn't attend tonight, but he would be at that event in secret, if that makes sense. So we wouldn't see him in Las Vegas or anything like that. I think he would just kind of, a bit like WWE, he'd just kind of arrive and like, oh my God, it's her, something like that. I don't think he'd be at a Nottingham show if he was going to announce or something like that was going to happen with a major signing like Ryan Garcia. So I'd be very surprised. Again, it's a strange look. It's a crazy world. You never know what might happen, but I'd be very surprised personally if he did sign. I think on form, Fury beats Dubois. I mean, I would agree with you. Is Conor a snake or not? Conor is an absolute, what? Like, I mean, I think that he's a snake amongst other things. He's not a particularly nice person. I don't like Conor Benn as a person. And should I really be surprised seeing how his character is that he's done something like this? Not really, to be honest with you. I'll read that now in a sec. But no, I'm not surprised at all, really, when I look back at it now, because Conor Benn is that sort of character, He has really no morals. I've never warmed to Conor Benn. So I saw Conor Benn in his pro debut. I remember it well. I remember seeing him in interviews. I remember seeing a lot with Conor Benn, and I could just never warm to him. There was always something very about Conor Benn that I just didn't like. And I like to think I've been proven right, because Conor Benn, to me, there's always been something about him. Your spider senses just went off immediately with Conor Benn. There's a fakeness about him. And I've said that for years on this channel. And like I said, I think I've been proven right in the long run anyway. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the whole Conor Benn situation. There's 90 seconds left to go in this round. This was a bit of a kind of a weird round. You saw both guys showboating a little bit. And Fawaz is getting back into this fight now, to be honest with you. He is getting a little bit back, certainly into this round. He's been a little bit more active. And the weird thing is, when you look at Fawaz, he's got very long arms in there, so he should be able to actually use them and keep a bit of a distance. Against Ishmael Davis, he has a decent amount of speed in there, launches a right hand. They're very long arms as well, actually. So he should be able, if he was taught the right way, to actually utilize them. Can you sit with a mic? You can sit with a mic at home, pal. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm sitting with a mic plugged in at home. I don't know if that was to me or if that was to someone else. G-Man, can you see a day when Matchroom and Queensbury merge into one? No. No. I think that they will work together, which they are doing. I can see that. But merging into one, as in one like whole, like UFC and WWE did with that TKO project, something like that, where they're still kind of separate entities but under the one banner, maybe. But as a whole, no. No, 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 no. Never. I can't see Frank letting go, nor can I see Eddie. I could see Eddie shifting the reins, certainly with the boxing, but I could never see Frank really taking a step back. George is very good. I like George. I like George Warren, but he's not as good in front of camera as Frank is. And I think George would be a natural next in line because he really does seem to have a good grasp on it and he gets the game. And I think out of the two, Francis and George, he is the better of the two. Francis is all right, but George really gets it. Like, he's really head screwed on. He knows what he's doing. But no, I think it's more. I think Frank. I think he's not great in front of the camera. What's the next live you're going to? I might go just as a fan, although I'll try and get press credentials, to be fair. If I don't go to the March 14th show, I'm probably going to try and go to the show in the Copper Box because it's only walking distance for me. The Copper Box is not far. Funny, I only walked by the Copper Box today, actually, believe it or not. I went for a walk there after I did my live and I walked by the Copper Box, actually. So it's not a long walk for me. I can walk there and walk home. It takes me 10, 15 minutes. So I might go to the George Liddard fight. And again, I'll just go as a fan, but I'll look to go in press row because I don't like sitting. I don't like sitting in the kind of bad areas. I'm used to sitting in press row with the media now. So I'll probably I might even say it to Ade when I see him next when we're back next week. I'd just be like, look, press row, that show, if he's at it. And that's actually, it's Ade's birthday the end of March. I think it's his birthday after that. So I might even get a chance to give him his birthday present that week. So yeah, that might be the next show I go to. For someone who got into boxing, how big was Hay? For someone who just got into boxing, how big was the Hay Bellew fight? It was pretty damn big, man. And bear in mind, like, I was at the time when that fight was announced, I had just finished working in the gym, as I said earlier in the show, and I was doing a temp job, and they were all casuals in there, and they were all like, when that fight was announced, we were all working, and they were all like, Liam, Hey Bellew just got announced. So that was big. That was a big deal. And I remember it well. It was a very big deal. So yeah, no, don't let anyone tell you that Hey Bellew, both fights weren't big. They absolutely were. They were big fights, believe me. I was around, I was watching them. I wish I'd have been doing video. I wish I'd been doing this at the time because it would have been fun to do. I really wish I was doing this at the time because it really would have been good to do. I've barely talked about this fight, by the way. I really have barely talked about this fight. I should be. I should be. G-Man, were you a personal trainer when you worked at a gym? I was everything. So at the time, PTing wasn't as big as it is now. So originally I worked in a gym near the airport, and then I swapped over to a gym which was closer to home. It was a hotel gym. So we did reception for the gym, we looked after the gym, we ran everything for it, actually. We ran literally everything. And we did the classes, we did everything, but we were paid hourly. Now we could PT on the side, we had to do it out of hours. So I did everything. And it was good fun. Like, don't get me wrong, man. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And I had a great team that I work with. It was a team of all boys. And the oldest out of us was 24. And I was the youngest and I was 22. So we were all like, we had fun. And the funniest thing was, right? prior to that, it was kind of a mixture of like ages and stuff like that, and you know, male, female, and stuff like that. All the people who, because it was a swim, there was swimming classes and everything we did, so we had to teach kids to swim and stuff like that. We had to go through like lessons and stuff like that, lifeguards and stuff like that. We did a lot. And all the people who went there used to always like remark that we were the favorite team because we were all in around the same age. We all had the same interests. We all just wanted to go and get paid and go home. The two receptionists we had working under us were the MD of the hotel's daughters. So we used to just be like to them, and they used to kind of work the unsociable hours. So we were stuck with them. We'd just be like, yeah, you do everything and just leave us alone. And they used to do that. So it was hilarious. And then if we ever got stuck with a Sunday shift, because we have to do like a weekend a month, and if two of the guys got stuck with a Sunday shift, one of us would get the early, one of us would get the late. So the early shift was, I think it was 11 to 6, and the late shift was 8 to 6. So someone had to open and close, and for some reason two of us had to close. It made no sense. But if you got the early shift and you were out the night before, you'd lay the yoga mats down in the gym office, you'd close the door, and then he'd just sleep. One of us would just sleep on the yoga mats. And see, that's what we did. One of us would just be like, right, are you tired? Were you out last night? Yeah. All right, I'll lay down the yoga mats for you. And you just lay you genuinely, this is what happened. You'd lay the yoga mats down in the office, you close the door, and it wouldn't be busy on a Sunday, and you'd have no one-to-ones. So yeah, you just sleep on the yoga mats for an hour or two. It was it was quite the time. It was quite the time. I missed that. It was good fun, actually. I have to say, I talk about it smiling, so obviously I did enjoy it. I really did. I talk about it with a smile on my face, but it was never going to last, unfortunately. Unfortunately, because it was good fun while it lasted. But yes, now another attempt to try and commentate on this fight. Round number 8. I did say this fight would go long. Best believe we will be doing a full commentary. I will not get distracted unless someone gives a super chat on the main event. Best believe that. Best believe that. But yes, Ishmael Davis has been in fair old control of this fight throughout. I've been enjoying what I've been seeing. Came here for the boxing, not the life story. Well, people ask. So therefore, I talk about it. So there you go. Now, I will talk more about the boxing. But if people want to know and they ask, I'll ask. You know, it's not the end of the world. And Ishmael Davis, oh, that was a nice combination from Ishmael Davis there. The uppercut's been working very well for Davis in this fight. And if you look at the total punches landed, it says it's only actually a 9-punch difference in terms of shots landed. But Ishmael Davis really does. He really does look to be landing the harder, cleaner, more effective shots in there. And the way Fawaz is setting some of the shots up, he's not disguising any of them, but it does look like he's forcing a lot of the shots as well. So Ishmael Davis is able to slip those shots pretty easily. So there's a minute and 50 to go now here in the 8th round, and Fawaz must know he's behind. Now he is, I know, obviously showboating from time to time. He is actually backing Ishmael Davis up there a little bit better in the corner. Ishmael Davis needs to get out of there and try and pivot out. And that's some good work, some good body work from Ishmael Davis at the same time is able to deflect some of those headshots coming back. But he really needs to maybe kind of step in a little bit more. I think Ishmael Davis is just kind of getting a little bit dull. Like he's just getting lulled into this fight a little bit. I think he needs to step it up more. The uppercuts work. What is he doing? Oh, motion to the referee there. I was wondering. I thought he was showboating there mid exchange. But defense from Davis looks actually sharp there between slipping the head and then moving it up. Now you didn't need to move out of the way there. Fawaz actually getting some good shots off there. Davis needs to. He's not getting hit with the shots, but it's a bad look. And what the hell is he doing? Holy mother of God, what are you doing? If Fawaz is just making silly mistakes there, look what he did. He's like just arms out, whatever, looking, and Davis is like, all right, I'm going to have a free hit. Now he's lucky that nothing came about that, but he needs to stop doing that because that's absolutely ridiculous from Ishmael Davis from Fawaz there. Absolutely. Why is Ruiz being signed? Doesn't seem like he has many more fights in him. Maybe name value, mate. He's done a couple of pay-per-views. I think maybe just the name value alone might be the reason. But 15 seconds to go. Fawaz has been the busier in this round 8, to be fair, from what I've seen. So you might just give him this round and just nick it, just pure on that. What was it? Someone said, will you be getting anything for the background of your videos? There's not much room for the background. See that? We're not far from the wall. There's not an awful lot of room for the background, to be honest with you, mate. So unlikely, unless I move it. But yeah, no, genuinely, I've literally that, so I can reach it with one hand. So there's not a lot of room for the background. So as it stands now in the current location that the home studio's in, unlikely. If I moved it around, if I moved it around, I could, because I've got like, it's where the heating is, but I have a guard over it, which I have my books and candles on. So I probably could there put a few like press passes and stuff like that on it, maybe. So it might be something I do moving forward, maybe, because I would like a bit more, color in it rather than just a wall at the back. But it does the job, man. It does the job. Uh, what was that? G-Man, they say the further a barrel of Guinness travels from Ireland, the worse it gets. Is a pint in London crap compared to Dublin? Yes. Absolutely. It's crap compared to Dublin. It's night and day. It's awful, quite frankly. It really is. Like, it's not bad. I've had some decent pints of Guinness in London, but like, you go to the airport and get a mediocre pint. It's still better than anything I've had here. Really is. And I've been to a few pubs around. There's some you wouldn't even bother trying the Guinness. You can see it and you're just like, nah, I ain't even gonna drink that. And there's others that you're like, all right, I'll try it. It looks all right. It's decent, but nah, nah. It's very difficult to find a good pint of Guinness in London or abroad in general. It's just when you get it in Ireland, it's just different. It's just so much nicer, man. It really is. It really is. 2 minutes left in round number 9. Now, the commentator scorecards, interestingly enough, have Fawaz coming back into this fight. Now, I did give him that last round just purely based on activity. Ishmael Davis was landing very clean, very eye-catching shots early on in this fight, and they were really eye-catching, and he was really doing some good work as well. But he's kind of slowed the pace down a little bit, and all well and good, he's able to shift and move his head and dodge some of these shots. But at the same time, he's not really coming back with anything. Yeah, it's just, it could easily win back to be a draw. I mean, like, this is the thing I've noticed with Ishmael Davis. He does good work and he just lets his opponent get back into it. I don't know what it is. Is it like is it like he just has him? Is it like he realizes, all right, I'm doing well, I'm doing good, I'm moving well, I'm doing all this. All right, now let's rest, let's chill, let's see how we go, and then let the opponent back in, and then realize, oh crap, I got to turn it on. Maybe it's something like that because it is getting more competitive. Like, I know I'm not commentating on it, but I'm still watching it, and I can see that it's getting more competitive. I can see that. Eleanor says it could be weight. That's a very good point because Ishmael Davis, I would say, is a natural 160 pounder, looking at the size of him in there because he's massive. I mean, honestly, I don't know how he makes this weight. He looks a solid 168 pounder, much less 160 pounds. But maybe the weight is an issue. And I'm sure it probably is. When he fought Kevin and Jago, I won't forget that fight because the weight difference was ridiculous. If you ever seen Ishmael Davis, Kevin Ajago, the weight disparity between the two of them, and he is getting hit with some big uppercuts in there as Ishmael Davis. But the weight difference between the two guys was absolutely ridiculous. Will he stop doing that? Just standing there like that with the corner. It's just not, don't be doing that. But the weight difference between them looked crazy. Like, the size difference was absolutely ridiculous. It was just, well, that's a difficult one because Ben Whitaker has the amateur background, so we know Ben Whitaker can be moved along faster. But there's a lot of question marks about Ben Whitaker. I have questions about Ben Whitaker, so you could potentially try, yeah, but you run the risk of him getting beat. And by the way, we're only 10 subs off 29K. There's 117 in the building. If you haven't already, hit the like button. And people, were only 10 subs off 29K. I would love to hit 29,000 subscribers on this live stream. If you could, please consider hitting the like, hitting the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. I really would. I really, truly would. Round 10 is now underway. These rounds have flown by. I did think this fight would go rounds. Someone asked me earlier on, Someone asked me earlier on, do I think that this will go the distance or when will the main event start? And I was like, yeah, this is definitely going the distance. And Ishmael Davis as well, one thing, he's not really shown any power at 154 pounds over the last couple of fights. And I think that goes back to what Eleanor said, that he probably is a little bit too, oh, he got hit with a little left hook there and he just kind of reacted to Ishmael Davis in a kind of like that kind of reaction. So I wonder did he feel that a little bit? And Fawaz is really coming into this fight. Like the showboating is a little bit, don't really be doing that. Someone said that, he is getting back into this. The control that Ishmael Davis had early on in this fight, and he was sweeping the early rounds. Like there was no ifs or buts. He was absolutely sweeping. It's really starting to slow down now. And, you've only got 9 minutes. Well, actually, you've only got 8 minutes now because there's a minute gone. He's definitely getting back into this fight, and we're looking at, unfortunately, another close Ishmael. And thank you to Martin for subbing. I appreciate that, mate. We're looking at another close Ishmael Davis fight because you could have this fight genuinely very, very close, given the fact the commentators have it very, very close as well. So, it's an interesting one. It's a very, very interesting one, certainly for me, from the outside looking in. Total punches. So now Fawaz has actually overtaken Ishmael Davis in the total punches landed. Now, I know we don't score fights on punches landed. Obviously, we don't. But that's very telling, considering the fact that early on, he seemed to not be able to land really anything. And, that was a nice little left hook he landed. It's getting interested now, people. There's 1:10 to go. He's blowing now. You can see it, the mouth wide opened from Ishmael Davis as well, which is never normally a good indication, is never normally a good sign when a fighter is doing that, when they're blowing, taking big gasps of air. Well, he's still got another, 7 minutes left, plus the minute rests, and he needs to get these rounds in because he's doing nothing. I mean, he's literally done nothing in this round. You can only score this fight to Fawaz. You can't be giving this round to Ishmael Davis. The legs looked a little bit rubbery there as well. And Fawaz is really starting to get into this fight. He's really starting to feel confident. He's winning this round as well. Look at that. He's got the spring in his legs. He's got the spring in his step. He's stepped up to another level. Yeah. Yeah. He's really looking good. Ishmael Davis, it has to be the weight. Has to be, because he is the better fighter. Like, Ishmael is not a bad fighter. And I'll stand by that. He's a very, very good fighter. Very good fighter. But he looks huge in there. He looks knackered. And this fight hasn't been fought at like a Gatti Ward type pace or anything like that. So there's no reason for me to think, well, why is it? Look at, don't be doing that, man. Like, this is ridiculous from Ishmael Davis in this round 10. It's a big round for Fawaz, very much. It's like you're wanting Dave to step up the level, and I think the weight means he can't. I agree wholeheartedly for future events to get growth. Lives don't really generate that much growth, to be honest with you, man, to be honest. Like, I've found that lives for me, the only time I ever really see a benefit from them is when I do a watch along. And one thing I would recommend doing is do a watch along for a fight that no one's going to do a watch along for. Like a card like this, no offense, but you're going to get people like me. You're going to get the likes of Harry, a guy called Henry. You're going to get the likes of loads of others doing it. You're going to get the likes of Talksport doing it. You're going to get loads of them. If you did like Tyler Denny versus George Linnard, literally no one, I'm not going to do a watch along for that. No one's going to do a watch along for that. So if you did it for that, you'd probably get some good numbers. Genuinely, but that's what a lot have said. Because if you're going up against competition and, again, no offense, we've got like thousands upon thousands more subscribers. People are just going to tune into me, Harry, and other guys. Like, so it's just the way it is. Like, it's unfortunate, but it's the way it's going to be. Whereas if you do one where hardly anyone's watching or hardly anyone's doing a watch along, you'll just gain the numbers by default. Because people will be interested to see like someone react, because people don't tend to like a lot of the time the commentary. So anything is better than listening to someone on commentary you don't like. Adam Smith is all right, but he wouldn't be my go-to commentator, put it like that. He's decent. He's not terrible, but if I could listen to someone better all the while, sinking in with the fight, I will do that. So that might be a good idea. It's with Matchroom too, so there's no home fighter as such. A very good point. And Fawaz he definitely won the last couple of rounds easily. Easily won the last couple of rounds. So let's see what he has left. Let's see what he has left. I wouldn't pick Allen against either of those guys, in particular Riakporhe. I think Riakporhe would beat the brakes off Dave Allen. And that Riakpor's the older man. Amazing. Riakpor's the older man, but yeah, he looks significantly younger than Dave Allen. Obviously shows, draw coming. Could be. Could be. It's definitely looking like that type of fight. The first couple of rounds as I was watching this, it was like, oh, Ishmael Davis winning this fight. Now it's like, could go either way. It's going to really hinge on the last one. Have Wood or Warrington fought yet? No, they're fighting next. They're the main event. If Davis he doesn't stay on his feet, but that's not a knockdown. He looks knackered. Look how hard it took him to get up. That wasn't even a knockdown. Look how long it took him to get up to his feet there. He is knackered. He is absolutely knackered. Look at the breaths he's taking. Deep breaths. I think Ishmael Davis looks like he's done here. He needs to, for his own sake, move up to 160 pounds. He's won a British and Commonwealth title at 154. There's no shame in that. You're not going to win it outright. Just move up. That's what you need to do. Because it looks like he's absolutely a dead man walking in there. His performances are suffering. And look at him. He's just getting systematically outworked here. Look at that. There's nothing really sophisticated about what Fawaz is doing there with those shots, but he just has way more in the tank. It's as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. 30 seconds to go in round 11 as we go into the 12th and final round, next round. Neither guy looks like they're going to be able to get a stoppage, in particular Ishmael Davis at this point. So we are going the full 12. Well, Ishmael Davis, I mean, as you say, Adam, well, Ishmael Davis is even bigger. So how he makes it is beyond me. I mean, he must be, the things he must be doing. I don't even want to know what he's doing to make that weight, man. Honestly, I don't even want to know. And Fawaz as well, like, he's not as big, but he's still massive. Like, I think I was saying earlier in the stream, 10 years ago, you looked at 154 pounds and you were like, oh, they're quite small. They're not small, but you know what I mean? Like, they look normal. They look kind of small and you think, yeah, you could do that weight. Now, 10 years later, they look flipping huge. They look massive. 8 subs off 29K. People, I think we're going to do it. I'm not even going to lie. I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to get 29K on this live stream. I think we're going to do it. We're 8 subs off 29,000 subscribers. Bear in mind, when I did the live earlier, I said that we needed, how many did I say we needed? I think we said we needed 37 or so thousand subscribers, or we needed 37 more subscribers or something like that. So we have literally nothing between us now and getting that 29K. As I check a few Instagram stories. Apologies. And big up to G-Man. Big up to you, my friend. It definitely does. I mean, I've heard people say years ago that they thought that weight cuts were affecting their prime when they weren't even cutting that much. God knows now what it's doing. It has to hamper them, man. It can't be good for them. And I know they're bringing in this 32 hours before so you can, rehydrate longer. But look at that. Carl Frampton has Fawaz well ahead. And I can't really argue with that. And Tony Bellew has it even wider. So they all have Fawaz well ahead in this fight. That's crazy. Considering how this fight started, I thought Ishmael Davis was bossing it, and that's what he was doing. He's just got nothing left in the tank. I'm going to be really interested to see how these scorecards look at the end. Because every fight that Ishmael Davis has been in lately have been close. Apart from the fight with Boachuk. That wasn't close. But obviously, it was never going to be close. But this fight is genuinely but Davis lands some good shots, but he's not able to follow up. And look, I like what Fawaz is doing there. Like, that's some fun. That's some good showboating. I like that. That's some fun style there. I like what I'm seeing there. I'm worried for Warrington tonight. No, I think Warrington's got this. Me personally, I think Warrington has this. Does he look like he's got broken nose? I'm not really noticing that now, man, to be honest with you. To me, it just looks like he's just knackered. It just looks like he's gassed. He's got 90 seconds to try and do something when the commentators who are both scoring this ringside both have the opponent Fawaz ahead, even though it is an in-house fight, but they both have him ahead. You need to be able to pull something out of the bag here. And he doesn't. He hasn't looked like he's been able to pull anything out of the bag for the last 6 rounds. it's been a very poor performance from Davis, possibly affected by the weight. In fact, I'd say definitely affected by the weight. But he's got a minute to go, and Fawaz is just, look at that, he's teeing off on him. He's teeing off on him. Do I think Adam Boot is going to train Fury? No. Very surprised if he did. I'd be amazed if he did, to be honest with you. I think Fury should stick with Sugar Hill, but it's just my opinion. And 40 seconds to go. This is going to be so interesting to see how these scorecards look come the end. It really will. It's going to be so interesting because Fawaz, for me, he's winning this fight. He's won this fight. I'm surprised I'm saying that because early on I was thinking, oh, this is a write-off. This is a mismatch. It's easy for Ishmael Davis. Not now. He's embarrassing him. He really is. 20 seconds to go. No knockdown. We're not going to see a knockdown in this fight, but you weren't subscribed. Sam Tahat. Is it Samantha, or is that short for Samantha, or is it Sam Tahat? Or something like that. Was bizarre. Sugar Hill was the best thing Fury ever did. Never blew smoke up his ass. Actually, yes. He was the only non-yes man, and Sugar Hill I have the utmost respect for, and the fight ends. It's going to be interesting to see how they score this fight, man. It's going to be very interesting to see how they score this fight. People, come on. We've got four more subs. 4 more subs and we hit 29K. We get 4 subscribers and we hit 29K. We got to do it. We are going to do it. We are easily going to do it. Shane Fury was highly complimentary of Adam Boot. See, Adam Boot, look, I don't think Adam Boot is a terrible trainer, but he really only teaches a certain style. So that's why I never understood it. Like, he only teaches really, you basically need to have athleticism, long arms, punching power, and good reflexes. Otherwise, that style is not going to work. So I don't get why Fury, because Fury, his reflexes slow down. He's not got the most athleticism. He's not the biggest puncher. He's got long arms, but I don't know. Yes, well, we thought we would. We both said he'd win this fight, but boy, did we get that wrong. Didn't have it as wide as Frampton and Bellew. And I remember you left a comment about the Bellew Hay fights. Yeah, man, it brings back some memories. I watched actually, I think I watched both Bellew Hay fights in a pub, in the same pub, actually, back home in Swords. I think I watched them both. And that was the second Bellew Hay fight, was not long before I started uploading to YouTube. Was not long. Are they announcing the decision? No. But we will. I'll turn the volume up for the decision. But yeah, the Bellew Hay fights, as someone asked earlier on in the stream, how did were they as big as he thought they were? Yes, was the actual answer. Yeah, they were big. They were big fights, and they were fun fights at the time. You know, boxing back then was very fun for me. You know, it was everything was just kind of just fun back then. You know, I guess it wasn't it was still money driven, but it wasn't as money driven as it is today. And yeah, it was a lot of fun back then. Let's listen to the decision. I thought they were going to announce him then and there, but we're waiting. Wilder versus Chisora. That's going to be a fun watch along, isn't it? We're going to have a field day with that one. There was a spring in the step of Fawaz's step. Here we go. Let's have a listen.
12 rounds here in Nottingham. We go to the judges' scorecards. Kieran McCann, 114.
Told you. I didn't say it, but I thought that there'd be an even scorecard. Close.
115, 113. Victor Lachlan, 115, 114. Sunshine winner by majority decision.
Yep. Right winner won. Right man won. Very close. Move up in weight, Ishmael Davis. It's done. 154. It's over, man. That's now 4 defeats. No, it's done. April 5th. I think that's on the 4th, mate, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's going head to head with the no, you're right. Sorry, apologies. It is on the 5th. No, it's Ben Shalom in his infinite wisdom, who is who was doing a show on the 4th. Hill is probably still training Partridge. You couldn't trust Partridge if you said Saturday Sunday comes after Saturday. Yeah, you probably couldn't actually be fair. You wouldn't know. I'd say he's probably still influencing Partridge. Fury. I do love that name. I do that name. You know what, right? I think I've told this story before, and now we're not now the fight's over, so I can talk a little bit. I don't know if I ever told this story, but you know when people say like calling him Luke Partridge diffuses him, it does, and it's because names can be powerful, and names can diffuse people like that if you've got a bad name. And I don't know. I think I've told this story before, but when I was in secondary school, the last 2 years I was in secondary school, so my fifth and sixth year in secondary school, because obviously in Ireland it's done a bit different than it is in the UK. There was a guy who came into our school, right? My class specifically, right? And he had a funny name. It was funny, right? He was Irish, but it was a funny name. Now, his first name wasn't bad. It was a fairly common name. And his last name was not common per se in Ireland, but it was a very common English name. It had Anglo-Saxon origins. And combining the two together, it just was hilarious, especially because it really didn't fit the person who had it, if that makes sense. It really didn't fit him as a character. And even now, today, if I like, even now when I think about it, I still giggle a little bit when I hear the name. And he came in and he was a complete, anchor, right? You know what I'm trying to say there, right? And we were all kind of cool. So none of us were really going to be dicks to him. But because he was a dick to everyone and had this and he real deep voice, like really deep voice, he'd be like, yeah, I'm new here, but yous are all gonna respect me. That's what he was like, right? So we were all like, all right, we're gonna have a field day with you. And the name we just constantly like, and he hated it, but it was just hilarious. The name, it diffused him. So whenever he was big. Like this guy was big for his age. Like at 16, man looked like he was in his mid 20s. He's about 6'2". I'd say he was about 16 stone, solid, right? Not fat, solid. And he had a beard, like a black beard, like so. This guy was like he looked like he was in his mid 20s at 16, and a real deep voice. And the name just diffused him. It just totally diffused him, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious. That's an interesting question. What do you think of Southsiders in Dublin? I don't really have many dealings with them, to be honest with you. I never really need to go down the South Side if I'm home. I've dated a couple of Southsiders, and yeah, they've been more than a bit of a head case, but they've not been the worst at the same time. I've dated more Southsiders than I have Northsiders, believe it or not, because Northsiders are just, they're like that. But, they're not, I don't think too much of them. Some of them are, it depends where they're from in the South Side. You get some from, kind of affluent areas. You think there's something, you think their feces don't smell. For the most part, I don't mind them. They're all right. I don't really think to or from it, really, whether you're North Side or South Side at the end of the day. Um, you know, I mean, a lot of people think where I'm from, which is Swords, you get North Side, like, oh, you're from the posh side of the North. I'm like, Swords posh, all right. I mean, it's many things, but that it definitely ate. Yeah. Oh, yeah. May 2018-19 was actually a great little period in boxing. Bellew Usyk, I've watched that fight about 10 times. Yeah. God, I remember 2019, do you remember in 2019, we had that 3 week period where it was, who went first? It was Fury. No, no, it was Fury. It was Joshua. No, I can't remember the order. It might have been Wilder, Joshua, and then Fury, or it went in that. I don't know if it went in that order, but we had that little run where the three of them within like 3 weeks were fighting, and it was mega. We Billy Joe, we had man, 2018, 2019. They were good times. They were good times in boxing. I had fun. I always keep saying, I wish I had the channel the way it is now then. Not that I didn't enjoy doing this back then, I obviously did, but it would have been so much fun to have everything set up the way it is now, doing all that then now, because there was so much good stuff happening back then. It just seemed like we had fights on every week, whether it be in the States, whether it be in the UK. You Billy Joe Saunders in Stevenage Stadium, you Dubois, you Joe Joyce, Brian Jennings. Remember that show very well. I was in the O2. There was so much good stuff back then. I remember Bellew Usek. I remember that. I remember Joshua Povetkin, Joshua Parker. I remember the Hay versus the Hay Bellew 2. Remember Selby versus Warrington in Ellen Road. Was it? Yeah, it was in Ellen Road, wasn't it? That was mega, that fight. That was a fun show. That was a real fun show. Frank Warren did that. There was so much good stuff back then. Honestly, there really was. I look back on that with such fond memories. I remember Bellew when he fought in Goodison Park against Macabu. That was on a Sunday as well. It was a bank holiday. It was the May bank holiday in Ireland and the UK. And the night before, Ricky Burns fought up, I think, in Scotland. They became a three-weight world champion. And then the Sunday, they had Bellew, man. They were fun days. They really were. I enjoyed those days. They were good times in boxing. As I said, like it's a little bit more kind of a little bit more corporate nowadays, and that is what that is. Look, it's gonna move with the times. I get it, but yeah, back then was it was good fun back then. It was good fun. What do you think was the best years of boxing you watched? Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a good question. Actually, I have to think about that for a sec now. Um, I'm gonna probably say the most enjoyable kind of best period was like 2016 to 2019, really, because back then we were just getting so many fight shows, we were getting so many cards, there was just so much happening. And man, they were good times. I look back very fondly on that time in boxing. And do I wish I was doing what I'm doing now? Yeah, but okay, we are three subs off, by the way. We're three subs off 29K. Three. Need no three subs. If you haven't already, just please consider hitting the subscribe button. That's a very interesting question. What that that we'll say, we'll just call it that, would you have loved in front of a crowd? Mine would have been Dubois versus Joyce. I would have loved Povetkin White in front of a crowd just for that knockout. Just to see the fans lose their marbles over that knockout. You know, that was one of the worst things about it was that you lost the fan interaction. And when a big, when a fighter gets hurt, it's a big knockout, everything. When the fans just roar, it just adds something. Mate, just think of that time. White Chisora 2, Loma Linares. Oh, yeah. I remember that fight actually. Wilder Fury 1. Yes, yes, yes. I was there in Belfast where Wilder, and I was there as a fan at the time, but I wasn't even doing YouTube. I remember being in Belfast just thinking, I was kind of, I felt like you were a part of that because you were there in Belfast when it all kicked off. And Canelo 1 and 2. Oh, man. It's sad in a way because it feels like such a long time ago now. And it's not that long ago. Well, it is, I guess, but it just feels like a lifetime away now. Almost when you think about it, we're talking about, and what's really sad is, right, White and Chisora are probably going to be retired soon. Loma and Linares, I think, well, Loma's definitely retired, but Linares, I'm not sure, probably is. Wilder be retired soon. Fury be gone soon. Canelo be gone soon. Triple G, I think, already is gone. They're all gone. It's sad, man. That's really sad, man. It's, man, sad to think about. We've got new stars now, but, you know, they were the guys who were around, when I was, peak in love with them. I'm still in love with the sport, but you know what I mean? When I was peak, I wasn't doing any, I had no reason to watch these fights every weekend, but I still did it. Who you got in the main event? I've got Warrington with a moonwalk across the studio, if you get it. I ain't doing no moonwalks across the studio. I ain't doing that. The home studio doesn't need to see that. We're happy enough as it is. Uh, the zone app, you mean? I really need to start making the drive to Belfast where I can. Yeah, you're driving from Cork. That's a fair old drive, man. That's a bad old drive, man. I mean, for me, it's not bad. Like, if I'm in Dublin in my house and I go to Belfast, if I ignore the speed limits, I can do that in about an hour. I can do Belfast in about an hour if I ignore the speed limits, which I always do. But if I don't meet traffic, I mean, my friend lives in Dundalk, which is probably another half hour away from Belfast, and I've done that drive in a half hour easy at times. Easy. So yeah, I could do Belfast in an hour, no bother. But for Cork, that's what, 4.5 hours, 5 hours? That's a bad old drive. Incredibly pricing on the zone. Just went to get 2 fights. Damn. I don't even know what to say on that one. It's sad, but we're in good hands. As you said, lots of big stars, some genuine talent, but politics is holding things back, as it always is, man. Though I mean, there's nothing new there. But yeah, we you look back and I'm sure it was the same in the previous era. You know, you look back, the sport is in very good hands. Don't get me wrong. We've got a lot to look forward to. It's in very, very good hands. But you do look back on that time because I really came into boxing, like as in like being a hardcore at the back end of the Klitschko era. So we're talking about heavyweight specifically. I was hearing at the time, and I remember actually, I watched, it was David Price versus Tony Thompson won. I remember I watched that fight live at the time, like not in the arena, but like just live on Box Nation. And I remember them talking about Tyson Fury. They were like, a big fella called Tyson Fury coming out. It's exciting times in the heavyweight division. And it was. And now we're talking about Moses Telma, Leo Watang, you know, Adam Moana. And you're like, wow, it's all changed. It's like Fury is the old guard now. Whereas when I was watching him, he was the new kid on the block and it was him and David Price. AJ wasn't even mentioned. You know, it's crazy how time flies and how, yeah. I look back on all that fondly, though. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I look back on it very, very fondly. It was good times in boxing back then. And look, it still is now. Don't get me wrong. It's still very good times in boxing now. But yeah, that was my time, man. They were the times. They were the days. They were good fun back then as well. That was really good fun. I remember like I was never a big UFC guy, but if there wasn't a big boxing match on, especially in 2015, especially then, if there wasn't a big boxing match on and say like Ronda Rousey was fighting or something, I remember Ronda Rousey when she fought in Australia. I think it was Australia or Brazil, one or the other. It's before she fought Holly Holmes. I remember that. I remember that night very well, very well. I remember that day very well because that was a very I won't tell the story, but it was I had an in-betweeners moment that day. I remember it well, unfortunately. It's funny though, don't get me wrong, it's funny. But I remember we used to go to a place in Source called the Right Venue, which is gone now, unfortunately. I mean, it wasn't, it was good. It was a fun nightclub. And we go from there, we go back to my friend's house, and we just, if there was boxing on in America, we watched the boxing. And that night, Ronda Rousey was on. So we were just like, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. What time is Ronda Rousey fighting at? 6 a.m. Right back to, I'm not going to say his name, but back to his house. All right. Beers at the ready. He goes to his dad's cooler. Right, everyone, beers at the ready. Let's watch for the rest of the night. And it was just, man, they were the days. I'm off, man. Goddamn. Someone asked me earlier about like, do you miss those days? And I was like, well, not really. And it's like talking about them now, I'm just like, damn. I flipping miss those days. Yeah, bro. Khabib McGregor was shown at the bar I worked at. Oh man, that fight, that was mega. Yeah, that was something else. All the top fighters of the generation will be retired. Wow. Will likely be retired. They probably will. That's actually crazy. All those names, they'll probably be all gone by 2030. Yeah, they most likely will. The only one who might be still around would maybe be Bivol, maybe, but the rest will be all gone. That's crazy. Time waits for no man, I guess. But yeah. Have I been to Scaries much? Yeah, quite a bit. Like I haven't been much to it over the last like 2 years because I've been over here in London. But yeah, I know Scaries well. My favorite restaurant is still Blue Bar, so that's best wings in Dublin. That's still my favorite restaurant. I haven't been in a long time, but yeah, Skerries is a lovely place, lovely seaside town. I love it up there. It's beautiful. I think the last time I had a meal there in Skerries was in Stoop Your Head, the fish restaurant. My neighbor brought me there about 2 years ago. I had a lovely meal, by the way, lovely meal on the harbour, on the pier with a glass of wine. So yeah, Skerries is expensive. I'd love to live there, but it's very expensive. But yeah, it's lovely. I love Skerries. It's a great town and it's quiet. It's not a place you would think to go to in the north side of Dublin. But oh yeah, he did. He put on serious weight. I mean, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, going out and being married to that thing, whatever she is, and all the things she did, it would drive you to eat. And now he's rid of her. Thank God for that. And he will not be looking back. Please don't. Do I think he loses the triple ADHD? Well, I don't think he has ADHD because that's attention and deficit and hyperactivity, isn't it? So I think Dubois doesn't seem to crave attention, but I would say triple spectrum would probably be the more appropriate name. I think there's a high likelihood he did. I think Fury would have won that fight. Me personally, I think Fury would have won it. When I look back now, I'd say if it had happened, Fury would have won it. Could be wrong. And I was a big David Haye fan, but looking back now, I'd say Fury would have won it. All right, come on. We need 3 more subs. 3 more people. If you haven't already, if 140 in the building, get that like button hit and we try and get this boosted up in the algorithm. But if you're new and you haven't already, do please consider hitting the subscribe button. As I said, I would greatly appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. It really would mean the world to me. Yes, that's a good point. He did have back surgery. So, yeah, you can't train. You probably wouldn't be able to do much of anything if you had serious back surgery, to be fair. So, yeah, I mean, you'd gain weight. If you can't train, can't really do anything, you're going to gain weight just by default. You're sitting around, even if you're eating healthy, you're not burning the calories. So, you're going to gain it anyway. Have they walked out? No, not yet. I would imagine they've just finished playing Sweet Caroline. So I would imagine they're going to be getting the ring walks pretty soon. Pretty damn soon. Yeah, David Diamante is getting ready to do the ring walks. I mean, this is likely the final ring walk for Leigh Wood. Likely. And even win or lose, I reckon it's the last ring walk for Josh Warrington too. If he wins, it'd be a good way to go out. But if he loses, that's it. It's a wrap. But for Leigh Wood, I think win or lose, this is it. I mean, I truly think this is it. So Supreme has Leigh Wood 9th round stoppage. I just think that beating he took last time is just too much. All right, Paddle and Poker has Leigh Wood in 10. It's interesting. I favor Josh Warrington very much here. I'm going to turn his ring walk. I love his ring walk. I predict the riot by the Kaiser Chiefs. Leeds played today. They drew Leeds today, didn't they? The football fans at the ready. Anyways, I'll talk this fight. I'll keep talking, man. I do love Josh Warrington's entrance, though. I love the Leeds. I'm not a Leeds fan, by the way. Far from it. And there's the Kaiser Chiefs. And I will turn that off so I don't get any copyrights. I don't pretty like the Kaiser Chiefs music, but I don't want them coming after me for any copyrights. But Josh Warrington, Leigh Wood, I remember his ring walk when he went to the ring against Lee Selby. And he beat the crap out of Lee Selby in that fight. That fight was scored a split decision, right? How on earth a judge could have scored that fight for Lee Selby, I will never know. I remember at the time scoring it live and watching it back, and each time I gave Lee Selby 1 round, the 3rd round. I remember it clearly. He got battered in that fight. and somehow they gave it to him or gave it to Warrington on a split decision. Got battered. Liam, how would you compare the people in London to Dublin? Is there many differences since living in London? Um, Definitely London people are a lot less. I wouldn't say they're less friendly. No, they're pretty cool, but they definitely aren't as warm as say people in Dublin would be. You could just I don't smoke, but like say you did just go out to a smoking area, you could strike up a chat with anyone in Dublin, or even if you're just waiting for a bus or something like that, you could just be like, ah, maybe you're watching this or something like that. You wouldn't really get that. And in London, you get the kind of impression that everyone is kind of like, don't talk to me, and not that I would, but you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. So yeah, there is a bit of a difference, but I think that's a southerner thing in general. I think south of England and the north of England are very different. They're poles apart, and obviously we're very much south. I do prefer the south of England now. I have to say, all being said, I'm more of a southerner than I would be a northerner. I like it better down here, but yeah, that is the big difference between the two. I would say is that I think in Dublin they're a lot friendlier, just for me personally. Oh God, yeah. I mean, like as Adam said there, they're massively there. It genuinely is like two different countries, the south and the north. I'm from Blackpool and I've been Southampton for uni. People are just different. They're absolutely like, I mean, you go up to Yorkshire and places like that, and they are just lovely people. And even you meet people just even down south from Yorkshire or places like that, and they're just so friendly and they're nice. And yeah, you meet Southerners and they're very yeah, they're not the same. It genuinely is like two different people. And Northerners tend to drink more Stella. Oh, they loved Stella. I can't say I dislike. I like it wouldn't be my go-to drink. Like I'm meeting friends next Saturday, and we're going for a few beers. And friends from London, I'm meeting them next Saturday, and we're going to a Spoons, a Witherspoons. I'll probably drink a Stella there because it's really the only thing there that I could kind of like, really. But yeah, they love the Stella up north. Whereas down south here, if I ever go to a pub, they tend to drink a lot of Guinness down here, and they think it's really good. And I'm just like, it's not. It's really not. But yeah, they'd be more Guinness drinkers down here, at least from what I've seen. But look, I like it down here. But they're definitely more friendly up north. But one thing I said I'm going to do this year, and I do plan on doing it, is to get the different parts of the UK. If there's ever a weekend where I'm not like busy with boxing or stuff like that, I want to go because I can get on the train and just go to a different part of the UK. Like I want to start with the south because I like the south, but I would love to go to York, like a medieval town like York or somewhere like that. Not Manchester, not because I don't like Manchester, but I want to go to a town, not a city. I live in a city every day. Manchester's another city. I don't want to do that. I'd love to go to a place like York. Right now, the two places I want to see most of all are Canterbury and Winchester, which are obviously south. But after that, I'm thinking York. I'm thinking Bamborough in Newcastle. No, well, it's not really Newcastle, but no idea how I'm going to get there. I'd probably be quicker getting the plane to Edinburgh and driving down, but I'll figure it out. But Bamborough Castle is a must, which is as far north as you can get without going into Scotland. I might have to go into Scotland just to get to it, but that's on the list for this year. Bamborough Castle. I am desperate to see Bamborough Castle just because of the Last Kingdom. That's literally the only reason. Yeah, Manchester is awful. I wouldn't. I have no interest in going to Manchester to be honest with you. Like me being a United fan, I would like to go to a game, but I've gone to a game already this year, which was Arsenal United, and thank God it was in the Emirates. I didn't have to do much. I get the train to King's Cross. I get the tube up to what is it, Finsbury or is it Arsenal? I think it's Arsenal. Actually, it's actually called Arsenal. And then you just walk. I was like, happy days. I don't have to do much. The train to King's Cross takes what, 5 minutes from Stratford? Literally 5 minutes. And then we're good. Yes, I'm a United fan, man. I've said that, mate. United fan, true and true. I'm guessing you're a Liverpool fan from Blackpool. I'm guessing. I'm guessing. But yes, Arsenal Station. Yeah, yeah. I think it's Art. You get no, you get the Piccadilly line to Arsenal Station. I actually have to get three tubes because I'd never heard it. Well, I am United fan, true and true. And that day when I was out in the Emirates, where we won 3-2, that was a glorious day. That was a great day. I had a great day that day. And I had good seats to the game as well. Good seats. So that was a glorious day seeing United. And the next game I go to, actually, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I'm going to the Arsenal-Chelsea game on March the 1st. I got a ticket for that as well, so look forward to that one as well, actually. So next weekend's a busy weekend, so I'm meeting friends on Saturday, and then Sunday, I get to go to the Arsenal game, which it'll do. That was an incredible day. It was great, man. Oh man, that match was so good. And when Arsenal went 2-2 up, I don't know why, I just had this feeling we're gonna score. Like I was just like, it was near the end. I was just like, we're gonna score. And literally a minute later, boom, 3-2. There you go, 3 points. Thank you very much. See you later. What? No. Yeah, what? No. Wait, hang on a sec. Surely not. I don't see anything. Nothing on no, there's nothing on. Don't see anything online about that. Where'd you get that from, mate? Ring magazine. Oh, flipping hell. Hang on. I don't want this. I don't want the fight to kick to start beforehand. And I'll turn the volume up once they do the intros. Oh God. Breaking news: Richardson Hitchens is out of his world title fight against Oscar Duarte due to injury. That's bollocks. And I don't because he's injured. But yeah, but illness. But like, what the fuck? Let's watch this fight. So we can sync the commentary. I've no idea what happened to Sporting Icons, truth be told. No idea. Illness. I mean, it's what it is, I guess, but here we go, lads. Here we go. Oh, they are swinging straight away. Leigh Wood, Josh Warrington. 7 rounds last time. A fight that Josh Warrington was winning handily, but ultimately got caught by Leigh Wood. Leigh Wood, a few years ago, was fighting Jazza Dickens in the York Hall on a golden contract tournament fight in order to try and win a contract. I believe it was with MTK, but to try and further his career. Today, 6 years later, they're both world champions. They both have been world champions, and they're both near the end of their careers. Leigh Wood, how much does he have left following on from that devastating loss to Anthony Cacace? But how much does Josh Warrington have? Knocked out by Leigh Wood, beaten by Anthony Cacace, albeit not stopped. How much does he actually have left in the tank still? Leigh Wood coming in off the back of a loss, Josh Warrington off the back of a win, where he did look quite impressive, it has to be said. But Leigh Wood, the naturally, you would say, bigger of the two, and he looks the naturally bigger of the two in there, but Josh Warrington, the plucky underdog, the guy who throws a lot of shots, Leigh Wood, long, rangy, big puncher, definitely the bigger power puncher of the two, but Josh Warrington has deceptive power. Carl Frampton on commentary, he's fought Josh Warrington, he's been stunned by Josh Warrington, he knows all about Josh Warrington. Underestimate Josh Warrington at your peril. But right now, Leigh Wood is just controlling this fight at a distance, it seems. And Josh Warrington already is missing short with some of these shots. The first time these both fought, Josh Warrington early on in that fight was able to establish a bit of dominance in the fight. He was able to outwork Leigh Wood. He was able to land on Leigh Wood. He wasn't afraid of what Leigh Wood was throwing at him. In this fight, however, he does seem to be a bit standoffish. It's over a minute into this fight, nearly 2 minutes, and we've not really seen anything from Josh Warrington as of yet, as Leigh Wood lands a good right hand and Josh Warrington misses as he follows Leigh Wood across the ring, just chasing fresh air there, chasing shadows. And Leigh Wood, again, just popping that jab out. Right hand goes in. Josh Warrington with the high guard has nothing else left to give. Tries to come in with a shot, but Leigh Wood ultimately clinches. Not a good start so far from Josh Warrington. And this is me, as someone who picked Josh Warrington to win this fight. I thought he'd have to beat the Leigh Wood, given the fact that he still showed me that he has a little bit of something, but evidently not as much so far. With 40 seconds to go, that's the first shot Josh Warrington's able to land. He lands a body shot on Leigh Wood up in the clinch, as the referee breaks both guys into a clinch again. It's getting a bit messy in there, but definitely straight off the bat, they're both letting the shots go. 25 seconds to go in round number 1. Sloppy round for both guys, but Leigh Wood definitely the winner so far. Josh Warrington yet to establish really anything in this first round. He's missed with a lot of shots. Leigh Wood keeping it at range, just landing a few shots here and there and making Josh Warrington think. Making Josh Warrington hesitant about coming in and letting any shots off. Right hand block by Josh Warrington just grazes the guard. Still has nothing to offer Leigh Wood as this first round comes to an end. I think that was good. I commentated that round fully, just throughout, didn't stop. Adam Smith, I want your job. Give me a job, mate. I ain't going to say there's the respect. I certainly ain't going to say they're better than the men. Just saying. Really bad start for Warrington. Yeah, really bad start. Well, Warrington, I mean, we know he's very dirty. We know that about Josh Warrington, unfortunately. He's had to resort to that. I mean, he literally got a majority loss to Lopez by just fouling, really. That's what got him the majority loss. He fouled his way to a majority loss. He would have got probably stopped if he didn't. Josh Warrington in the corner with his dad, Sean O'Hagan. A very good trainer, has done wonders for the likes of Maxie Hughes. But I don't know, this could be a task a little bit too big even for him tonight. Leigh Wood, inspired by the Nottingham crowd, in there against Josh Warrington, who has his own Leeds army with him. But is it a little bit too much now? Second round is underway. They were just showing the crowd before they were showing the fight, but now we have the fight back on. Leigh Wood with that left hand down very low. Now, remember when he fought Michael Conlon, that left hand being down very low was what ultimately got him dropped in the first round. He's going to want to address that, but he's very lucky that one, Josh Warrington is not a noted puncher, and two, he doesn't have the reach on him. He's not known for that type of counter punching with one single shot. He's more of a guy who will jump in and throw a lot of shots rather than look to counter punch you with one. That's a good body shot from Leigh Wood. Again, peppering Josh Warrington from the outside. Josh Warrington, when he fought Anthony Kakache, he was kept on the outside as well in that fight, and there wasn't a lot he could do. It seems to be now in Josh Warrington's career, the further on he's gone in his career, not only is he not able to keep the big output, and that was a very near clash of heads there, very reckless, very, very reckless from Josh Warrington, or deliberate, one or the other. It seems now Josh Warrington isn't able to really hold the same kind of output. But also now, if you keep him on the outside, he's unwilling to take the chances that he once used to be able to take. Maybe for fear of being caught. Maybe ever since he fought Mauricio Lara and had his chin tested, he's been unwilling to do that. But Josh Warrington, certainly early on in this fight, not letting the shots go, and Leigh Wood just outboxing him. Really just outboxing him. Is that a bloody nose? Now, that is not from a cut. That's not from a punch. That is definitely from a clash of heads. Leigh Wood, there's no disrespect, it's no unrespectful way to say this. He has a very big nose. Very hard to miss. Very hard to miss. And that nose is gone, not from a punch, but from a clash of heads, it would appear. Because Josh Warrington early in this first round, and if that nose is gone, which it looks like it is, that's going to hamper Leigh Wood's breathing. And he's already dabbing at it, as you see just there. He's dabbing at that nose. It's going to hamper his breathing. And this may, unfortunately, bring Josh Warrington in. Because if you're going to bring someone into a fight, you don't want to bring him in by this, by having a headbutt, causing a nose injury, which is going to slow down the breathing. And it will slow down the breathing of Leigh Wood significantly. And it could bring Josh Warrington back into this fight. There's 50 seconds to go. It's still a Leigh Wood round. And Josh Warrington still, although he's getting close, he's not able to let any of these shots go. It seems like he's not even able to pull the trigger, much less actually let any shots go. So even though Leigh Wood is seriously compromised, and that nose does look like it's in a very, very bad way, and that headbutt was naughty, to say the least, from Josh Warrington, Leigh Wood still is in control. He's still able to keep Josh Warrington at a range. He's still able to just outbox Josh Warrington, certainly for the time being. But we need to wait and see how this fight goes as it goes down the stretch, because this may go some rounds. Although saying that, Leigh Wood has stopped Josh Warrington in the mid-rounds before. He may be able to do it again, but with that nose, and he's going to have to breathe heavy, it could be a compromise here. But this round 2 is nearly done, and I will be putting this well and truly at another nearly clash of heads there. This is ridiculous from Josh Warrington. The referee needs to have a word about that. That's ridiculous stuff. Pathetic from Josh Warrington with a head like that, going in with his head like that. Referee needs to have a word. I want to see a replay of this clash of heads and just see the damage that it definitely, because definitely caused by a clash of heads, certainly. Certainly. If that brings Warrington into the fight, it's not done it in a fair way. Certainly not. Does he always fight like that with his hands down? Yeah, he can. He can. Let's have a look at this. Just I want to see this head clash. Punch did go in, to be fair. Not enough to do that sort of damage, though. Certainly not. Let's see. Warrington landed a decent shot there. That's after the nose clash. If you were working tonight, would you rather do Parsons' role as a in-ring reporter or Adam Smith's role as commentary? Definitely Adam Smith's role as commentary. I love commentating. I just love it. I would definitely rather do Smith's role as commentator. I'd take either, to be honest with you, but I would much rather do Adam Smith's role. Definitely. I think I could do a good job, quite frankly. And I'd have support from Barry and Darren, so I'd be all right. I wouldn't have to talk the whole 3 minutes. But we're into round number 3. So Warrington did get a few shots on. I still felt that was a Leigh Wood round. Looks like they've controlled the bleeding a little bit on the nose as well. But I felt that was still a Leigh Wood round. But Josh Warrington getting a little bit closer. Now, that is what we used to seeing from Josh Warrington. There it is. He's letting a few shots go. He's actually getting underneath the jab of Leigh Wood, and he's actually letting the shots go and actually able to get inside and do some good work, get some offense going. This is what was winning him the rounds in the first fight. This is what he was doing so well in the first fight. He needs to be able to maintain and do this again, although he is still getting hit from the outside. And Leigh Wood, right hand goes in there, but both guys land a shot there. Or it looks like he's a little gun shy. He's very gun shy, extremely gun shy. That's why I said, like, Josh Warrington first time around was really able to get the shots going from instantly. Now he's able to get under the shots, but he's really thinking when he's waiting to get the shots going this time. Really waiting hard. And I think that's because he's been in there with someone who has already stopped him. He knows Leigh Wood can turn his lights out, and he is waiting. He is waiting until he can really say, right, his power's gone, now let's go. But now he's letting some shots go. There's some Josh Warrington shots going off. That's better work from Josh Warrington in this round. Leigh Wood has to clinch. And there he goes, up close. He's letting the big shots go again. This is like the Josh Warrington we know and love. This is more like it. And this is better. Look at that. Big body shots going in from Josh Warrington there. Maybe now he is feeling a little bit of a lull in Leigh Wood's power. Leigh Wood. The heads again, man. Seriously. God almighty, this is ridiculous from Josh Warrington. Heads, back of the head shots, everything. No need for it. Leigh Wood getting the jab going. That right hand is down so low. He doesn't need to be doing that. He really doesn't. He's lucky he's in there with someone who's not going to be able to counter punch like that, but he lands a good left hook there on Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington's head snapped a little bit back there. Leigh Wood should have actually put a bit more offense on there. I think he might have had Josh Warrington a little bit stunned, but Josh Warrington still looking to come up close, still looking to get in, still looking to land his own shots. Leigh Wood being able to get out of range and move at the first sight of trouble. And by the way, there's 200 in the build, and I'm 3 subs off 29k. If you haven't already, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I want to get 29k. I really do. I think the commentary is good enough. I think I deserve that at this stage. So 30 seconds to go. Oh, that's a lovely uppercut from Leigh Wood. That's a good jab from Josh Warrington in response. Some good shots being landed here in round 3 by both guys. Leigh Wood getting a bit of a better of it there. Josh Warrington is coming into this fight a little bit more in this round. Is able to land a few more shots. Just a few more. It's nothing major, but he is starting to get a little bit more off in there with offense as both guys end up in a clinch. You might give this round just slightly to Josh Warrington. Just slightly. There you go. 29k, people. Boom. Told you. Right on the stream. 29k. Look at that. That's how you do it. That's how you do it, boys. 29k. 29k. We're now officially almost at 30. Look at that. That is how you do it. 29k. Whatever happens, I'm a happy boy tonight. 29k. I am mega pleased. Mega pleased with that. Oh, boy. And we still got plenty to go in this fight. What channel is it on? It's on the Zone. Hit the like. Exactly that. Hit the like button. There's only 80 likes, by the way. Only 80 likes. Only 80 likes. We can get a few more than that. But yes, I'm very happy with that. 29k. Thank you so much for that. 29k on stream. I'm very pleased with that. Very, very pleased. Very happy with that. Very happy. Very, very happy. All right, round number 4. These rounds are flying by. And it's interesting because I think Leigh Wood gets hit with a jab there. He is open to that jab. He is very open to that jab. And he's very... Josh Warrington needs to utilize that jab a lot more because Leigh Wood is fighting with his hands down. It's very, very silly from Leigh Wood to do that. I know he probably feels like he doesn't have much to worry about, that there's not a great deal coming back. And actually, if you look at the punch stats, Josh Warrington has thrown less shots than Leigh Wood. Leigh Wood is actually throwing more and outlanding Josh Warrington, which is strange because Josh Warrington is normally the guy who is outlanding, and well, he's not normally outlanded, but he's always throwing a lot more. And big up to Beard Productions for the £5. Thank you so much, my friend. It is greatly appreciated. 29k. And I get a super chat as well. I am a very happy man tonight. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that greatly, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm trying to get the beard back myself. 2 minutes to go in round number 4. Interesting fight as far as someone commented, they said that they felt that Warrington was very one-dimensional. I tend to agree with that. He does just try to look to outwork you. Well, back in the day when he was younger and fresher, he would just go for the jugular, and he hadn't been stopped at that point. And he would just go and outwork you, and he had power on some of those shots, so he was hard to kind of, manage. Whereas now he's slowed down, he can't fight at that same pace, and he's in there with someone who's already stopped him. And I do genuinely think that the fact that Leigh Wood has already stopped him means that he is a lot more gun shy. And that was a wild swing from Josh Warrington. He was nowhere near the target. Nowhere near him. I think given the fact that he has been stopped by Leigh Wood already, that probably makes me think that there's a high likelihood that Josh Warrington is wary of that and he is waiting until the power starts to subside. That was a good left hook, though. Counter left hook by Josh Warrington. Not much power on it. Leigh Wood certainly felt it as they go into a clinch again. And Leigh Wood, he looks a lot sharper in this fight than he did against Kakache. Has to be said, Josh Warrington is not Anthony Kakache. He's not as fresh as Kakache is. He's not as big either. But he does look a good bit sharper than he did, certainly in that fight. Certainly in that fight, he looks a good bit sharper. Way too wary. He's extremely cautious. Again, it was a fight that he was winning, and he ended up getting stopped. It's been about 3 years almost. 3-0 Wood. He can maybe edge the third round to Warrington, but yeah, I think Wood is winning this round as well. You can maybe give Josh Warrington a share of round number 3, but Leigh Wood is definitely winning this round. Definitely. He's looking quite good doing it and just keeping it at range. Boxing very, very smart. And just doing, oh, that was a nice uppercut up close. He caught Josh Warrington coming in. Did you see that? Warrington came in, boom, uppercut. There we go. Warrington kind of playing up with the mouthpiece as well. So it tells me that, he felt that. And he felt that right hand as well. Leigh Wood needs to step on the gas a little bit because he's actually doing some good work here. That was a big round for Leigh Wood. I definitely don't. Leigh Wood definitely won that round. He definitely won that round. He's doing a lot better in this fight than he did in the first fight. Landing the much cleaner, harder, effective shots. Definitely. Absolutely. Congrats on 29k. Oh, well, I thank you, my friend. Yes, 29k. We've done well today, lads. We've done very well. It's actually 29,004 now, so we're doing really well. We're doing very well. I'm very happy with myself. So we're officially into the hundreds. We're into the hundreds. 996 subs off 30k. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. We're on the hunt for 30k. 30,000 subs. It's quite nice, isn't it? 30,000 subs. Quite nice. I'm very happy with that. Yeah, 3-1 to Luca 99191. I would say you're spot on with that. Josh looks older, gun shy, and generally less confident. Leigh, on the other hand, seems the opponent fresher, more confident, which is, you'd never think that based upon their most recent fights. You really wouldn't. Carl Frampton has a clean sweep to Leigh Wood in round number 5. Thank you to Trevor as well, as does Tony Bellew. I tend to concur with that. And Leigh Wood still in this round, really just landing almost at will, keeping Josh Warrington at bay, which is strange again, because the first fight was all Josh Warrington. It was not this type of an affair. Josh Warrington, I know Hitchinson pulled out. I know, unfortunately, man. I've just heard earlier. It was Josh Warrington was winning these early rounds. Oh, lovely shots by Leigh Wood up close. Josh Warrington feeling this now, and Leigh Wood really coming into it now. Lovely work. Absolutely lovely work there from Leigh Wood. And Josh Warrington's been in there before. He's been there, seen it, done it. He's been stopped by Leigh Wood. He knows what Leigh Wood has. And that's a good jab, though, by Josh Warrington in retaliation. One of the first clean shots he's landed in this round. And another one. But Leigh Wood, even though he gets hit with that shot, was able to counter Josh Warrington back. Hanging nicely in the balance this 5th round. But we need to see more from Josh Warrington. He's not looking himself in there. He's looking old. He's looking slow. He's looking gun shy. Everything you don't want to see in a fighter. And Leigh Wood, the guy who was stopped last time around devastatingly, is looking brilliant. He's looking fresh. He's looking rejuvenated. He's looking like the old Leigh Wood. He's looking at Leigh Wood we know and love. Where was this guy against Anthony Kakache? Where was this Josh Warrington? Well, we've never seen a Josh Warrington looking this bad. And Leigh Wood is looking phenomenal in there. He's just completely outboxing Josh Warrington at this stage. Popping that jab, landing that right hand, almost at will. That right hand goes in there to the body. There's 1:10 seconds to go in the 5th round. And Josh Warrington is doing zilch. There is nothing that he really has to offer. He lasted 7 last time. Will he even last that now? Because Leigh Wood knows he can stop Josh Warrington. The right hand goes in there again. He knows he can stop Josh Warrington. He's done it before. I think he'll be feeling this. I think he'll be warming up, and I think he'll be looking to stop Josh Warrington again. And to be honest with you, I don't doubt that he will, based upon what we're seeing right now. As it stands now, if you want to be generous, give Josh Warrington a share of round number 3, but it's a clean sweep right now for Leigh Wood. And this round, likewise, is going the way of Leigh Wood. Right hand goes in from Leigh Wood. Another right hand. 30 seconds to go in the 5th round. Josh Warrington sloppy with his offense. Isn't even able to land a shot on Leigh Wood as we go into a clinch again. Not able to do anything in there with him. Really isn't. 15 seconds to go in round number 5. Here we go. This is Leigh Wood's fight. Backed up on the ropes. Josh Warrington doesn't even let any shots go. How are you going to knock a guy out when you're not even landing shots? Very relaxed. He's enjoying himself in there, Leigh Wood. He's looking like he's enjoying himself anyway. As the round comes to an end, what's your timer? I have the timer on the screen, but the 5th round just ended there. Yes, the 5th round just ended there. So yeah, road to 30k. We're on the road to 30k. We're going to get there soon. I'm hoping very soon. I'm hoping by March time we'll get there. I really am. But we're going to get there very, very soon. I think it's inevitable. It's a matter of time. We're getting there. It's going to be done pretty damn soon, I reckon. I reckon it's going to be pretty soon. He was texting me. Did I get text? I did get a text. I wasn't even checking my phone. But that text made me laugh. There's Froch. The beef between him and Gypsy John. I mean... Just Carl Froch, just do us all a favor and just just fight him, just knock him out, and just be done with it. Just be done. Round 6, people. Round 6 is underway. Just be done with that. Like, we don't want to see it. We just don't. We just want John Fury or John Partridge out of here. We're done. I'm done with John Fury. It's the same old, same old. The fighting man. Yes, fighting man. Yes, really. Okay. 2 minutes and 30 to go in round number 6. And again, this has been a clean sweep. Alistair has it 4-1. Yes, there may be a round there you could give to Josh Warrington, maybe round number 3, but for the most part, this has been a Leigh Wood fight. And Leigh Wood doesn't look like he's forcing anything. It just looks like he is just... Excuse me. It just looks like he's comfy in there. Whereas everything Warrington does looks like it's forced. Literally everything he does in there just looks like he's forced. Warrington just gets the hands up. Yeah, there used to be head movement from Josh Warrington back in the day. There used to be something. There used to be a bit of bobbing and weaving, and you take a step in and he bang, 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 bang. There's none of that now. There's absolutely, literally none of that. It's just, it's just hands up and that's it. Nothing else. 30k, I know, and we will get there. We will get there. We'll get to 30k quickly, hopefully. I reckon that April will be the month probably we'll get over the top, because April's going to be a flipping mad busy month. It's going to be massive April. It's going to be a massive month. It really will be. It's going to be a crazy month. But yeah, 1:20 to go. And Leigh Wood just doing what he needs to. The funny thing is, Leigh Wood had to pull the knockout out from behind last time, whereas in this fight, he doesn't need to, because he's already winning. He's already winning handily. So for Leigh Wood, it's probably just a case of just do what you got to do, see what you can do, and if the knockout comes, it comes. 1 minute left in round number 6. And again, Josh Warrington has very little to offer. And again, I went into this fight thinking Josh Warrington didn't look too bad last time out. So he probably has something left in the tank. Whereas Leigh Wood's coming out the back of a devastating defeat where he was battered from pillar to post by Kakache. You'd never think that fight happened. And Leigh Wood does tend to come good after a defeat. Remember, he was knocked out by Mauricio Lara He came back in that rematch and he bossed that rematch completely like it never happened. He is made of tougher stuff than Josh Warrington, it would appear. And lovely boxing from Leigh Wood there. Absolutely lovely. Josh Warrington just chasing air and takes a jab for his troubles. There's not really anything from Josh Warrington here now at this stage. It just seems to be all Leigh Wood. Josh Warrington with the jab, a little smile to say, I think you've got me. He's got the beating of Josh Warrington in every department. Little Lee left hook there from Leigh Wood as well. Another one, another little combination. He is having a field day with him in there. Now, it's going to get to the point where Josh Warrington, it's either go for broke or do nothing at all. That's really all it is. We will hit 30k subs very soon. And he's had his hands down the whole fight. Now, why does he have his hands in the whole fight? Because he feels he's comfy enough to be able to do that. He probably knows there ain't anything coming back. And Josh Warrington is literally throwing nothing back in retaliation. So he knows himself, I can do what I want to do in here with this guy. He ain't going to do jack, you know what. Leigh will take him out by round 9. It's looking likely he probably will. Probably. Wonder what his dad is saying to him in between rounds. Because he's offering very little in retaliation. He really is. Offering nothing, really. So, yeah, offense is easier with the hands down low. It's risky, but Warrington is just offering such little that you could get away with that risk. You couldn't get away with it against someone live. You know, you really couldn't. And we're into round number 7, the halfway point, and it's not inconceivable. I've been sitting here for nearly 2 hours, so I'm getting a bit stiff. Pause. But Carl Frampton has Leigh Wood winning every round. I would imagine it's the same for Tony Bellew. And they're right to have it. Yes, he does. They're right to have it that way as well. Do I think Paddy Donovan make a comeback? Yeah, I think he will. I think he's just unfortunate with what happened with Lewis Crooker. I mean, the first fight, that was some BS as far as I'm concerned. Well, it wasn't BS. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't BS. It was legit. But what happened, you know, was silly. And then they just got overconfident second time. So I think Donovan has the beating of him. But, you know, as the same way I think Leigh Wood has the beating of Josh Warrington, as it appears in this fight. It's just not there for Josh Warrington. Time has caught up with him. It isn't there for him. And you can see it by the way he's forcing everything. He's not comfy in there. You can see he's not comfy at all in there. Big up, G-Man. You're doing good. Thank you to EE77. I appreciate that, my friend. But yeah, he's not doing well in there. It's not looking good for him at all. It really is. Now, this is the round that he got stopped in last time. And I'd be very surprised if he sees the final bell in this fight. He might not get stopped this round, but if he sees the final bell in this fight as a whole, I'd be very surprised. I really would, because it is just all Leigh Wood. We know he's a big puncher. We know he can really crack. And I think it's inevitable that Leigh Wood just finds something, finds a shot, finds a combination, and ends up taking Josh Warrington out sooner rather than later. He's 1:20 to go in round number 7. Josh Warrington has done next to nothing in this fight. It has been all Leigh Wood. All Leigh Wood. Which again, very contrasting to the first fight. First fight, it was pretty much all Josh Warrington. And Leigh Wood finally caught up with him. This fight, it's the opposite. And I don't think Josh Warrington has the power. Even though Leigh Wood's been stopped before, I don't think Josh Warrington has that sort of power to be able to really bother and really damage Leigh Wood. I really don't. We expected a 50-50 fight. We are seeing a demolition job. I remember that fight, John O'Carroll versus Scott Quigg. That was sad. That was painful to watch. And Joe Gallagher let that fight go on way too long. Way too long. Scott Quigg took a beating in that fight. Oh, he took a horrible beating against John O'Carroll. And John O'Carroll's not a puncher, so that's even worse. Because he's not a puncher, he hit Scott Quigg over and over and over and over and over again. For 11 rounds. It was painful. I think that was one of the last fights we saw before boxing went behind closed doors. I think it was one of the last shows. I remember it. Remember it well. Remember it well. Remember it very well. Remember it very well. Actually, don't. But that card wasn't too bad. I don't remember it, actually. I think it was a decent show. Round 7 comes to an end. As I do, while I have a chance, a quick Instagram post. Not post, but a quick look on Instagram. Ugh. You know when you see some people and some of the crap they post on Instagram and you just think, they really don't, there's really not a lot going for them, isn't there now? You just look and you're just like, there really can't be much to what goes on with some of these people. It's crazy. The fight's been all right. Yeah, the fight definitely wasn't. It's not been as fun as the first fight. That first fight was fun. Like, I enjoyed that first fight. That first fight was real good fun. This fight's been just kind of. It's been sort of just there. Do you know that sort of way? Like, there's been nothing really about it. It's just been all right. It's one sided, but all right, but not much else. As we get ready for round numero 8. Round number 8 is underway. Are we getting back-to-back 12 rounders? Are we getting back-to-back 12 rounders? I definitely wouldn't have thought we would have got a 12 rounder in this one, but it's looking likely, ever more likely, that we are going to get that. It's looking ever more likely that we're going to get a 12 rounder in this fight. Was it Lara won? Warrington hasn't been the same since that fight in Eddie's Garden. Well, Lara won wasn't in Eddie's Garden. It might have been in the Wembley Arena, but it was behind closed doors. I know that. It was behind closed doors. And yeah, he's never been the same. He really hasn't been the same since. He really hasn't. He's never been the same since that Lara fight, because when he fought him in the rematch, you could tell he was immediately gun shy. Like, immediately gun shy. Now, in his next fight, he fought Kiko Martinez. And he was able to stop Kiko, and he looked good in that fight. But bear in mind, he'd already beaten Kiko Martinez years prior. So he knew what to expect. So it was just like, all right, I've beaten you already. I'll beat you again. I'm better than I was back then. Because the first fight he had with Kiko, it was competitive. It was close. It was his debut with Queensbury, the first fight he had with Kiko. And next time around, it was like, yeah, I'm good. And Kiko Martinez won that IBF title off Kid Galahad. That was a massive upset. Good Lord, that was a shock. That was a shock. That was one of the shocks of the year in 2021. That was shocking stuff. Kiko was the kind of guy you fight in your first defense as a bit of a gimme. You recycle him. And he goes and he knocks Kid Galahad out. And Kid Galahad's never been the same since. He lost to Maxie Hughes next fight, and now he's gone missing. No one knows where Kid Galahad is. Somewhere in Sheffield, I'd imagine, but ain't in a boxing ring. It's crazy. The fight I went to live in person was Warrington Martinez too. Yeah, Warrington stopped him in a couple of rounds. It was a good performance. I did a watch along for that fight, actually. It's still on my channel. I remember it. Yeah, it was a good fight. Well, I always loved to see the Selby fight, but he should have retired years ago. Yeah, the Selby fight, that was one of the last fights I remember watching in a pub with my friend before I started doing YouTube. I remember it well. He beat the living daylights out of Lee Selby. And that was, again, peak Warrington. But the style Warrington has, it's not going to age well. It's very much, if you run out of gas or you start doubting your chin or worrying about what's coming back, you're screwed. And Josh Warrington is all of those things now. Whereas Leigh Wood, much more conventional. Yeah, if you meet someone who's younger, fresher, can just outbox you, yeah, it is what it is. It's going to happen. But with Josh Warrington, yeah, that style it's not going to help you. And it's not helping him at all in this fight. It really isn't. It's not helping him whatsoever in this fight at all. It is starting to turn into Eubank versus, yeah. Wood should push for the KO. I think he should. It's there for him. He's already done it before. I don't see why he can't do it again. It's definitely there for Leigh Wood. 110% it is. 29,006 subscribers. We are doing some good things, aren't we? Oh, boy. And again, if you haven't already, do please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. I'll only ask one more time after this when we get near the end. I'm just saying. We hit 29k subs. We've hit nearly 200 subs in 2 days. That's pretty good going. I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm very pleased with that. I'm very happy with that. 200 subs in 2 days. I'm pretty pleased with that. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm chuffed to bits with that. How would Prime Warrington do against Prime Pacquiao? Prime Warrington would get annihilated against Prime Pacquiao. Prime Pacquiao was better than Warrington in every way, every department. He'd get battered. He'd get annihilated by Manny Pacquiao. Wouldn't even be. Both these guys wouldn't last, 6-7 rounds with a Prime Pacquiao. Good Lord. Stop him, get it done, make a statement. Yeah, I would like to see Wood do that, step on the gas a little bit. And he almost did there. He missed with the right hand slightly, and he gets a jab in retaliation from Josh Warrington. Round number 9 is underway. 2 minutes and 35 to go. I would like to see Leigh Wood step on the gas. He's not obliged to, he doesn't need to. He's comfortably winning this fight, but I think the knockout is there for him. He's gone longer than he did in the first fight. Thoughts on Mayweather returning? If he does return back fully, it's the Pacquiao rematch, and then he's retiring again because he ain't gonna stay. What do you think? I know. He's clearly got money issues, Adam, mate. If that is the case, and I reckon he'll look to do the Manny Pacquiao rematch. They'll look to do that probably on Netflix, make a king's ransom, and then say, thank you, see ya, bye-bye. I ain't sticking around because Mayweather ain't going to fight. You just, unless that, now again, I've no inside knowledge. No, I don't know. But I just thought about it there. What if the big announcement is that Mayweather is coming back to fight with Zuffa Boxing? Again, I don't know if that's the case. I'm just saying, maybe it is because we're hearing about this big announcement. I know there's something in the pipeline, but I don't think it's quite as big as Conor Ben signing. I don't think it is anyway, but you never know. That could be what I think it is. So we'll wait and see on that one. But yeah, Mayweather clearly must have some money issues of some sorts to come back to pro boxing. You know, Prime Mayweather, Prime Crawford. Oh, man, I think Prime Crawford would have done him. I love Terence Crawford, man. He's one of my favorite fighters. I think Terence Crawford might have done him. Pause. But I think he might have actually beat him. I think he might have. But 1:05 to go here in round number 9. A little bit better from Josh Warrington there. He got a few more shots off. A little bit of marking around the left eye of Leigh Wood. So a little bit of something coming back, if nothing else. Josh Warrington actually appearing to be able to do something. I can't see Ben Mayweather just be, nah. I'd be amazed. Because Mayweather's 48, man. I just, and if Conor Ben fought Mayweather at 48 and beat him, he's already insufferable now. Could you imagine what he'd be like after that? It'd be crazy. He'd act like, oh, I beat a prime Mayweather who's 48 years old. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. You know, it'd be like saying, you know, oh, I stopped the ball from Ronaldo, who's 60. You know, if he was, hypothetically, if you were a goalkeeper in your 20s and a 60-year-old Ronaldo barely hit a ball at you and you stopped it, that's what it'd be like saying. So round 10 or round 9 comes to an end. Leigh Wood's face is mashed up. Look at that. He's not in danger, but his nose is bleeding again and his face is marking up a little bit. Would you really pick Mayweather? Like, I just, surely he's declined enough. It'd be a boring fight, but surely he's declined enough. A lot of people picking Mayweather over Conor Ben. Really? I can't see. Like, I know Ben's no good, but it's the age, man. Like, surely after so long, and Mayweather's one of the greatest of all time. There's no doubt. I can't. I don't know. Yeah, like Floyd's chin. Floyd always had a good chin, a great defense. So he had a good defense, but he had a chin to, you know, protect them if the defense did ever fail him, you know. But I don't know, man. Surely it's too late now, you would imagine. Please stop spamming the chat, for God's sake, with that word. Just put you on timeout for the time being. I can't stand spamming the chat. All right, round 10. We're nearly done this fight. Round 10 is underway. Slightly better round, it appeared, from Josh Warrington in the last round. Oh, yeah, Robbie Green. Warrington is very much scared. Well, great show as in the watch along, a great show as in the matchroom show. They're both great. Let's just say they're both great. Right? But Josh Warrington is definitely fighting scared. That of which you are absolutely spot on with. Although he is, see, this is what's frustrating, because occasionally Josh Warrington is able to get through. He is able to land. He is able to do things. But it's just not enough. And he's just too gun shy. He's not willing to let the shots go. When he does let them go, he has a bit of success, which is what's frustrating, because G-Man face when he realizes he may have to make a video. I won't be making a video about it anytime soon, but if they announce it, obviously I'll make a video on it, but I won't be doing that anytime soon. I won't be doing that. I've never done a Floyd Mayweather video, I don't think, on this channel. I don't actually think I have done a Floyd Mayweather video on here, ever. So it'll be a first time for me to talk about Floyd Mayweather. Wow. It's going to be something strange. I never talked about him when he was in his prime or when he was finishing his career, so I may have to talk about him now when he's coming back. Have I gone bald? Not yet. I won't be going bald. I'll do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen. I will do everything to make sure that doesn't happen. But no, I just like the hats. What can I say? I just like the hats. But yeah, a minute and 20 to go in round number 10. And Leigh Wood, I have to say, Leigh Wood is slowing down a little bit. Like, he's still in control, but Josh Warrington is doing a little bit more. Maybe it would be a good opportunity for you and I to do a Mayweather Maidana 1. That would be a great fight. For the look back, that was a great fight. That was that was a great fight. That really was. It's one of Mayweather's more entertaining fights. Yeah, Paul's picking Katie Taylor over Conor Benn. As bad as Conor Benn is, I would be picking him over Katie Taylor handily. I'd be definitely picking him over Katie Taylor every day of the week. Probably pick Sonny Edwards over Katie Taylor at this stage, and he's retired, and he's tiny. But 35 seconds left in round number 10. We are probably going to see the final bell in this fight. We haven't even seen a knock. I did think we'd see a knockdown in this fight. If nothing else, I thought we'd see that. But no, it looks like we are getting to the final bell. We could, but I wouldn't like to look back at that fight. I seen it once. It was crap, and I'll watch it again. It's fun seeing McGregor get battered, but it's not really a fight that I'd particularly want to go back and revisit. Personally, for me, I mean, there's better fights you could do on the look back, I think, than that. That's a bit of a I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not a great fight either. Like, I mean, it's just kind of there. Like, I was glad to see the back of the whole Mayweather McGregor thing. I was delighted to see the back of the whole Mayweather McGregor thing. Um, yeah, I would look, if Ade wanted to do it and he really insisted on doing it, I'd do it. I'd watch it, but I don't particularly. It's not a fight because he takes my feedback on board. If we're doing a look back, will we do this, this, this? And if he said Mayweather McGregor, I'd be like, well, I don't really want to. I don't see the point in it. So I heard the look back is gone. It's not. We're talking about it. Like, we've been talking about. We'll probably will do it eventually. Like, we only talked about it with Nathaniel there, the cameraman, a couple of weeks ago. So we probably are going to carry it on. We are thinking about fights to do, and we're probably going to do another go at the look back and see how it goes. So we're waiting. We'll see. But if we do, here's the reason why I'm not discounting doing the look back, because we did only speak about it a couple of weeks ago. So the look back is something that's wait and see. Wait and see. I enjoyed the look back. It was good fun, but a lot of work, but good fun. It's a lot of work, but it was good fun doing it. But some fights are more interesting than others, and there's fights that we genuinely just don't want to watch. Like, I don't want to watch Mayweather McGregor again. I watched it at the time, and I wouldn't enjoy it. Do a look back on the 10-year anniversary. Well, if we were doing a 10-year anniversary, I'd do it on AJ versus Klitschko. That's next year. That'd be worth it for you and Ade schedule wise. Yeah, Ade is mad busy. That's why doing the show on StreamYard is actually quite good for both of us, because it means then if Ade's away or if I'm away, we can still do it. It's not as hard. But yeah, time wise, and the schedule might get a bit busier now as well. So it's yeah, man, it's not always ideal. That's why we always try and stay consistent. And Leigh Wood landed a good few shots on Josh Warrington just there. That's a good body shot from Leigh Wood. It's a minute and 45 to go in round 11. I reckon we're going the full 12. Do I live close to Ade? Not a million miles away. I'd say it's about, if I'm getting the train, it's about a half hour, but driving it's probably about 10 minutes. Like, really, it's probably about 10 minutes. But yeah, if I get the train, it's about a half hour, because you have to get two trains, two tubes. So it's a little bit of a pain that way, but it's not a million miles. It's still in East London. But yeah, a minute and 15 to go in round 11. I reckon this is the end of Josh Warrington. No matter what happens, whether he gets stopped, he's going to lose this fight. There's no way he's winning this fight at all. But whatever happens, I reckon we're probably seeing the end of Josh Warrington. He just doesn't seem to have it left in the tank. And Leigh Wood is just happy to outbox this guy. Just happy to outbox him, do what he got to do. And he is picking up these rounds. He may get a share of a round or two, Josh Warrington, but this is going to be a wide Leigh Wood win. And he knows it as well. He's boxing like someone, Leigh Wood, who knows he's going to win this fight on points. Who knows, all right, we're going to 12 rounds, so be it. I am happy to take this fight. I'm happy to win it on points. Nice little body shot there from Leigh Wood. Josh Warrington with a bit of a grin. Leigh Wood sees that, so he goes for it a little bit. 30 seconds to go here. In round number 11, Leigh Wood smiling. Leigh Wood comfy in there. Goodbye to a great warrior. Well, Josh Warrington was that, and I'd say this is the end. I'd say when he leaves the gloves in the ring this time, I'd say that's it. I'd say it's well and truly it. But 15 seconds to go in round 11. We're nearly done, lads. We've got 3 minutes left after this. 3 minutes for Josh Warrington to find something, or 3 minutes for Leigh Wood to see out the win, and that will be that. Because he's winning this 11th round, which just comes to an end. Oh, tired. I don't know if I could do another live after this. I already said I'm not doing a live for the Ryan Garcia fight, but that will be 3 in a day. And I'm getting tired now. I'm not even going to lie. Getting tired now. I ain't even going to lie about that. And Josh Warrington is a legend of the game. You know, he was a great ambassador. He was a 2-time featherweight champion. Leigh Wood should never have been a world champion, but he became one, and a tremendous. We'll probably hear like a 119 or a 110 scorecard. I'd be surprised if it's 120, 108. You might get one card at 120, 108, but I'd say there'd be a 118 or a 119 card in there. Be wide. Should be the end of Leigh Wood still, though. Yeah, he's looked good in this fight, but like, you can look good against someone who's even further gone than you. Maybe if Wood wins, if it's Kakache, he won't chase Kakache. If it's Dickens, he might do that. He might very well do that because he's already lost. He's already fought Jazza Dickens, and I think he still has enough left in the tank. So that might be an idea. But round 12, last round potentially of Josh Warrington's career. Can he pull something out in the final round? Carl Frampton has it a clean sweep. He hasn't given Josh Warrington a single round. Tony Bellew gave round number 7 to Josh Warrington, being a little bit generous to him. So Josh Warrington has 1 round on Tony Bellew's scorecard. Either way, it is a unanimous. It is wide on both of the unofficial scorecards. Leigh Wood has dominated this fight from start to finish. He's boxed very, very disciplined. He's boxed relaxed. He's kept it on the outside. He's still keeping it on the outside. He's still popping the jab. He still has his hands down low. He doesn't give a damn. He is just keeping it long. He is happy. He is content doing what he needs to do. Josh Warrington just doesn't have it. Josh Warrington just doesn't appear to have it in the tank anymore. Josh Warrington, since the first bell, you knew there was something missing between him being gun-shy. He takes a right hand from Leigh Wood there. Leigh Wood just looks to step in. Josh Warrington able to weather the storm, the very brief but very minor storm, but it's there. Josh Warrington, as good as he's been, as much as he's done, there's not a lot he has left. Yeah, you have it the same as Bellew. Yeah, you give Josh Warrington at least a round. That's it. Nothing else. That's it. 1 round and 1 and done. But we've got 90 seconds left in the 12th round. It's been all Leigh Wood. It's been all Leigh Wood. It has not even been competitive, this fight. No knockdowns. It's not been an amazing fight, it has to be said. It's not been an amazing fight. It's not been as fun as the first fight was, but to be expected. They're both older. Leigh Wood cautious, Josh Warrington gun shy, Josh Warrington older as well, and Leigh Wood just doing what he needs to do, keeping his boxing, keeping his range, keeping it disciplined, not taking any silly mistakes, not taking any chances. He has scored knockouts famously in the 12th round on a number of occasions against Kanzu and famously against Mick Connellan. But I think in this 12th round, he is going to see the final bell and he is going to claim a unanimous points decision victory over Josh Warrington. A brilliant fighter in his time, but he's seen better days. It's definitely fair to say. 35 seconds left in this fight, in this 12th round. Josh Warrington, what's left in the tank is running on empty. He came in with a reserve of fuel on the reserve tank, and he ends the fight on the reserve tank as well. He never emptied the gas, and it's coming to this, but he does still land one little snipping left hook on Leigh Wood in this, the final 15 seconds, but we are near the end. Leigh Wood showing everyone that even though he was beaten by Kakache last time around, he still has enough left in the tank when push comes to shove to be able to raise it one last time, and the bell rings. And Leigh Wood has won this fight convincingly on the scorecards. But Josh Warrington can hold his head aloft. He didn't get stopped this time, but it's a clear win for Leigh Wood this time around. There is no doubt in my mind, and I don't think there's any doubt in the mind of anyone at ringside. Leigh Wood, the clear and deserved winner of this fight. 10-2, we're seeing there on one of the guys' scorecards. Well, I reckon 10-2, 11-1, maybe even 12-0, maybe. But it's a wide decision win coming for Leigh Wood. As for Josh Warrington, I think retirement is well and truly on the cards here. 287 in the building. If you're watching, if you're enjoying the commentary, hit the like and hit the subscribe button while you're here. I just thought I'd ask. We've already hit 29k tonight. You might as well keep the subs coming. There's no shame in keeping the subs coming. I'd quite like to keep the subs coming, quite frankly. I think it would be pretty damn nice. I'd be pretty happy if I could keep the subs coming. I would. I'd be pretty damn happy if we could do that. 118, 110 on Tony Bellew scorecards. 190 and 109 on Frampton scorecards. So there we go. A very clear win on both of their scorecards for these guys. And I think it's going to be something like that. I think it's going to be something like that. It shouldn't take long. I might actually turn the volume on now. It won't take long for them to get the scorecards back. Cash out Josh, and I'm okay with that. But Josh Warrington probably was willing to cash out with that as well. Only left from Warrington is Conlon. Yeah, they're equally a shot. Good live stream, mate. Not staying up for the card. Keep the great content up. Have a good rest of the weekend. Enjoy the Garcia fight if you're staying up. I am a either, mate. I'm following suit. I'm following suit. I can't do it, man. I'm knackered already as it is. That'll be the third live I do today. I'm a knackered man. I can't do 3. Oh, no way. I'm not doing it. So this is me done. I'll do a review of this fight now, immediately after. But that's me done for the night after this. Watching from the Dominican Republic, subbed as well. Lee Boy, thank you, my friend. Got subs from the DR now coming. There we go. We're universal over here. You boys worldwide. Adam Smith bigging up the Mario Barros fight. All right. But yeah, we're worldwide in here. I always find it funny when I talk to subs on here and they're like, oh, I'm from this part of America, or I'm from the Philippines. Or I'm just like, damn, from all around the world watching you, boy. It's crazy. I do enjoy that. Was Clarissa Shields? Hell no. Leah Watang versus Atelma. Someone asked me that before. Atelma is way more talented from what I've seen than Leah Watang. Not to say Leah Watang can't improve. I'm sure he can. But he's not got that natural ability that most Atelma has. Atelma just looks. What we know about Atelma, we know all too well. That Cooper versus Ursa fight is going to be very good as well. That's going to be a good fight. And Navarrete versus Sugar Nunes next Saturday will be a fun fight too. That'll be a fun old scrap. Natalie Brandon, who won? Well, they haven't read the scorecards yet, but Leigh Wood should have won this fight handily. Handily. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, bring your last round of applause for both of these.
Definitely.
The scorecards. Kevin Parker, 119, 109. Victor Rockland, 119, 110. Kieran McCann, 117, 111. All 3.
117. Leigh Wood. To be expected. The 170 and 111 was very generous, it has to be said. But yeah, the 119s, can't argue with that. Give Josh Warrington the share of a round. There was a share of a round in there, but the right man won. I think Josh Warrington, I'm not going to stay to see if he leaves the things in again or this, that, and the other. But I will leave it here. I've got to go and record a post-fight review for this fight. And I will talk to you. Before I finish, we've hit 29k in this live. So thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. We had a great live. Thank you so much. We had a great live. I enjoyed it fully. I really did. And you take it easy too, my friend. I hope you're a great man. I hope you have a good weekend. People, I'm going to do my post-fight review. That's the way that sounded, it rhymed. Did they say who won? Yeah, Leigh Wood won handily. And I am going to leave it there. People, I'll talk to you in about 10-15 minutes with my post-fight for this fight. And until next time, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in, locking in. Been a great live. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Peace.